The teacher asked the students to lay down and dream during the exam. The more impressive the things you dream about, the higher your score. And the dreaming process is broadcast live to the entire internet. Because this is a world invaded by void beasts, people need to create powerful heroic spirits in their dreams. To battle. When I dreamed up Waxia's underworld, the eerie atmosphere scared the viewers so much they trembled. However, the proctor in charge mocked me out loud. Underworld. Never heard of it. It's just an empty pretense. It turned out that Waxia culture is missing pieces in this world. The heavenly courts, the underworld, and other mythological symbols are unknown to people here. I, a transmigrator, became the sole bearer of Waxia culture. But at this moment, an accident happened during my Dreamweaver awakening ceremony. Unexpectedly, my mental aptitude showed A's rank, but my affinity was just 1 point. Everyone witnessing my awakening, including the teacher, twitched their eyelids. Does this mean he never dreams at all? Even my grandma's affinity is higher when she has poor sleep than mine. Dream affinity directly determines how hard it is to craft dreams. The higher the affinity, the easier it is to level up your Dreamweaver rank. Having S-rank potential means I have limitless future possibilities. But with so little affinity, it means I need to work even harder than others to reach my ideal level. This person seems to be Sumu from Senior Year 3, Class O. I heard he's also a Dreamweaver, a top student who often gets full marks on basic knowledge tests. Just being good at tests, what's that worth? If your dream rank can't level up, you'll just end up getting eliminated by the star beasts. The whispers around me didn't catch my attention, because in my mind, a simple, ancient-looking book suddenly appeared. Unique awakening talent. Ancient Waxia. When others are stunned by the Waxia myths or scenes you create in dreams, you will gain a certain amount of original force. This power can be consumed to improve your Dreamweaver level or create even better dreams. After opening the book, I was amazed to find it actually records all kinds of Waxia culture. It covers mythological figures like Pangu and Nuwa, and historical figures like the Yellow Emperor and Chiu. Great, as long as I have this classic in hand. Having low affinity won't matter much if a Taoist manifests the content recorded in ancient Waxia. Things like Investiture of the Gods, Journey to the West, the Heavenly Court, Three Realms, Pangu, Nuwa. Any one of them. Defending against those star beasts will be no problem at all. But before that, I have to deal with the Dreamweaver National Exam. Basically, it's similar to the college entrance exam from my previous life. The difference is students now use the DreamNet to link their dreams. Entering a single space, DreamNet, was created by an S-rank Dreamweaver and covers the world as a massively large shared dream. Within it are dozens of dream-built cities, serving as unique arenas for students to take the exam together, under strict supervision by the proctors. Candidates undergo Dreamweaver qualification tests here. Candidate Sumu, Mental Aptitude S, Dreamweaver. Affinity just barely meets the minimum for the exam. Confirm to enter exam? After confirming, you will enter DreamNet to start the Professional Awakening and Dreamweaver exam. Confirm. My mind was gradually enveloped in fog. Drowsiness pulled me into the dream world. Those not participating in the selection looked at my departing figure with eyes full of regret. After all, candidates with zero affinity are basically seen as failures by others. After a short silence, I was awakened in my dream by an old voice. I quickly realized I was in a void. This is DreamNet's testing area. So what will this year's test be? Candidate Sumu, number 3484, exam qualification. Certification successful. DreamNet officially assigned me an exam number. At the same time, candidates from different regions also connected to DreamNet one after another, entering the DreamNet space together for assessment. The Dreamweaver exam is broadcast live. Spectators can monitor each participant's performance in real time. Everything a candidate creates in DreamNet can be seen by the outside world. I actually think that's better, because when I use ancient Waxia to create things, I'll definitely rack up a lot of shock value. The Dreamweaver exam started on time. In an instant, tens of thousands of live streams launched simultaneously. Everyone, look at stream 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's my kid Zihan. They'll definitely get a great result this year. Many ambitious parents, flooded the public chat with info about their own children. However, most people prefer to search for candidates with extraordinary talent. After all, that's the real reason for the audience's excitement. The more gifted the Dreamweaver, the more powerful their future ability to fight void monsters will be.
This way.
Regular people can get better protection. Guys, check out stream 12,340,056. That's definitely top-tier talent. On screen is a gorgeous girl, wearing a school uniform, her eyes lowered, fully focused on waiting for the exam to begin. The audience outside can clearly see her attribute panel next to her. Name, Jang. Current level, F. Mental aptitude, a plus. She's almost Frank Dreamweaver. Professional affinity, 89. Wow, that's actually an S+ level talent. I've lived this long, and I've never seen such potential. Her professional affinity is actually as high as 89. Her future growth speed will be off the charts, instantly pulling far ahead of her peers. She's my senior at school, one of the top experts on campus, while everyone else was still chatting nonstop in Jang Hongshao's stream. A public message caught most people's attention. Shocking, an S-rank candidate appears in this exam. Everyone can go watch in stream 3438. There's actually an S-rank too. In seconds, the crowd surged into my live stream. I was sitting cross-legged on the ground at the time, trying to awaken as a novice Dreamweaver. Only then did I realize how much trouble having only one point of affinity is. The process of combining talent and the Dreamweaver profession was painfully slow, but what others saw were countless illusionary images flashing around me as I awakened. Some saw a magnificent jade seal, engraved with longevity as the heavens, and the words, "May you enjoy eternal prosperity." Others saw a flowing waterfall, and a stone steely inscribed, "Blessed land of flower fruit mountain, water curtain cave of the immortal realm." Whoa, what is going on here? This examinee's style is way different from the others. Damn, this is what an S-rank candidate looks like. The dreams that just flashed by were absolutely stunning. What the outside audience saw was, of course, ancient Waxia, manifesting externally as I awakened. Because Lanruo culture has been broken in this world, for people now, naturally these things seem very novel. The scenery is really beautiful, but the giant in the scene, why does he keep chasing the sun? Can anyone in the chat explain this to me? Yeah, exactly. I also saw a primitive man with a bow and arrow, aiming at 10 suns. I honestly have no idea what this candidate is trying to express. Everyone chatted noisily for a long time. It wasn't until then that someone noticed the attribute panel beside me. Name, Sumu, mental potential, S. Career compatibility, 1. What the heck? When countless viewers saw this bizarre attribute panel, they were all stunned, and after making sure they weren't seeing things, the entire live chat immediately exploded. This is just unbelievable. You're saying he's been sitting there, not moving at all, maybe still in the awakening stage? That's entirely possible. After all, with such a low career compatibility, awakening as a Dreamweaver is obviously extremely difficult. In his situation, he might not even awaken successfully by the end of the test. What a pity. S-level mental potential. Countless words of regret flooded the screen where I couldn't see. Welcome, all candidates, to the Waxia branch of the DreamNet Exam Center. After 3 chimes rang out, an ancient voice suddenly echoed in the sky. This year's Global Dreamweaver exam will use elimination for the lowest scorers. You will all take the Dreamweaver exam on DreamNet, which will last for 1 month. There are 4 rounds of tests in total. In each round, some candidates will be eliminated, those at the bottom of the rankings. The longer you survive in DreamNet, the higher your final score will be. The last survivor will represent their country, competing with top students from other countries.
Now,
the first round topic will be announced, World Dreamweaving. Within 1 day, candidates must use their mental power to create a dead world. Once completed, DreamNet will immediately give your world a rating. Please take the exam seriously. When the instructions ended, there was an immediate uproar among the candidates in every space. They want us to create a major dream world right off the bat. And it has to be a dead world. All of us here are so young. How could we possibly know? what a dead world looks like. For a moment, students from many districts frowned. Of course, some imaginative candidates already had their own ideas, but none of this seemed to have anything to do with me. At that moment, I was still quietly awakening my Dreamweaver ability. While immersed in the grandeur of ancient Waxia's history, I just sat like that for most of the day, almost as if I didn't care about the time limit at all. Half a day passed, and many candidates had already handed in their work. The DreamNet leaderboard kept updating with new names, making the viewers exclaim non-stop. Jang Hongshao dreamed up Grave of the Fallen Star, earning a B-level score on DreamNet. Oh my god! This dream world actually has B-level potential. From Xin District, Qiancheng dreamed up Grave of the Withered Bones, vividly recreating the carnage of the battlefield. He also earned a B-level rating from DreamNet. There's also Su Kun from Xingye District. His creation called Day and Night also made it to B-level. Candidates from different exam districts of Waxia submitted their dream worlds one after another. The chat was full of amazement. After all, this was the first dream each candidate created since awakening as a Dreamweaver. To start at B-level potential means if they had even more time, who knows what might have happened. I officially announce, this is the strongest Dreamweaver class in history. These B-level dreams are honestly incredible. If anyone can create an even better dream world, I'll literally wash my hair upside down tonight. More and more people started watching my stream, even though I just sat there, still as ever. That S-level potential still drew in countless viewers. Even with such ridiculously low compatibility, Jang Hongshao's creation still got a B-level rating. With my S-level potential, they still have some expectations for me. Finally, the ancient Waxia scrolls in my mind emitted a dazzling light. They completely merged with my consciousness. I successfully awakened as a Dreamweaver. Finally, I could start the test. After pulling my focus back from my consciousness, I let out a long breath. I rubbed my sore shoulders. And after a short break, I started reviewing my attribute panel. Dreamweaver successfully awakened. Current level Dreamweaver. Dreamweaving ability consumes mental power. Create any scene or being you imagine. The strength of the dream isn't absolutely tied to your current level. Even an F-level Dreamweaver can create an S-level dream. The difference is you just can't maintain it without enough mental energy. So the topic this year is to create a dead world? I muttered quietly, then glanced at the remaining time for the test. But apparently 3/4 of the time had already passed. Damn, this awakening took so much of my time. Still, I wasn't panicking. After merging with ancient Waxia, I found I could pull out any content recorded in Waxia culture directly from the scrolls, without having to spend mental energy on a draft and reconstruction. In other words, this would save me a lot of time. An unnecessary drain on mental power. A world after death, huh? The first thing that came to mind was the most iconic place in Waxia mythology, the underworld that's a complete realm of death. It has the Gate of Ghosts, the Yellow Springs Road, and the Bridge of Forgetfulness. The 10 Kings of Hell and the 18 levels of Hell are all within. This Waxia underworld doesn't belong to anyone. With that thought, I started sketching out the underworld scenery. But with my current mental energy, fully recreating it was impossible. With 30 points of mental power, I could only recreate part of the underworld, but that would be enough. It's moving! It's moving! The audience in the stream instantly became excited. Some could only shake their heads helplessly, noting that there's only 1/4 of the time left. Even with S-level potential, it might not be enough to create a good scene. Of course, I couldn't see any of this. At that moment, the ancient Waxia scrolls flipped in my mind. Very soon, a pitch-black archway, engraved with images of the 8 evil ghosts, came into view. Inscribed, Gate of Ghosts. These 3 characters were chilling to the soul. Anyone who saw it would be terrified. So I decided to start with the Gate of Ghosts, to create my own dream world of death. Hey, it's time for this world to experience the true legacy of Waxia. As my thoughts surged, the entire dream space began to tremble. A deep and shadowy ancient path slowly appeared underfoot, wreathed in black mist. An old, mottled stone road gradually emerged from the darkness. As the scene became more real, a flood of viewers stayed tuned in to my stream. I suddenly felt a chill in my heart. Why does this guy's scene look creepier and creepier? They were only absent-minded for a moment. The once dazzling scene was instantly filled with eerie whines. It sent shivers down everyone's spine. Beside the bluestone path, strange red flowers bloomed one after another. In an instant, an ancient, mysterious gate rose up from the ground. On the plaque, blood red like embroidery, 3 unknown large characters were engraved. They looked like ancient script, but it was a language they didn't recognize. Yet for some reason, a mysterious fog of understanding rose up in the audience's hearts, prompting them to blurt out the name of this gate, Gate of the Underworld. All at once, many viewers showed expressions of fear. It felt as if a cold wind swept through their souls. Oh my god. The streaming chat exploded like a geyser at this moment. I'm on my knees. I'm in the desert, you know. But this dream world actually makes me feel a chilly breeze. Guys, this is just incredible. I just saw the flowers and thought I was about to die. Kinda looking forward to it now. I want to take a stroll through the gate of the underworld. Feels like there's a ghost moving behind me. I'm out of here first. The viewers kept spamming the screen in the live chat. My mind was also flooded with countless comments. Luciane was shocked by your rough draft underworld creation. Gained 0.1 Li of original force. Zhao is shocked. Gained 0.1 original force. More and more people are shocked by the underworld I created. The number of original force points gained is rising at a visible rate. Though I don't know why. Why is everyone providing a different number of points? No time to care about all that. I keep devoting myself to creating the underworld. Once the gate of the underworld, river of forgetfulness, and the bridge of helplessness are all finished, I already have cold sweat on my forehead. Looks like my mental power is about to hit its limit. After creating the world, it still needs to be maintained with my mental power. If I want to keep improving the underworld, then the previously created Yellow Springs Road or Bridge of Helplessness and other scenes, they'll slowly disappear due to lack of mental support. It's a pity the underworld now is just the tip of the iceberg. I don't even know how this incomplete underworld will be rated. With my remaining mental power, I condensed a patch of black mist into a half-finished minotaur, then submitted my dream world. The space immediately reset to its initial state. Not even 3 minutes later, the exam announcement, which had almost stopped updating, sounded again. Test taker 3484, Sumu's Dream House, Underworld. Received an S-rank rating with a score of 100. After the broadcast ended, Sumu's name immediately shot to the top of the leaderboard. The whole place was instantly in an uproar. Oh my god. It actually got an S-rank score. This candidate named Sumu actually created a death-themed dream world with S-rank potential. If this dream is further developed, it will definitely become a powerful weapon in the void battlefield. You know, the dream web the students are using for this exam is itself an S-rank dream creation. Even the other candidates taking the exam with me were shocked. Everyone's guessing who this Sumu is, especially the top few on the ranking. Getting a B-rank rating on your first creation proves these people are geniuses. But suddenly, a dark horse appeared and got an S-rank rating right away. Anyone would find this unbelievable. A candidate numbered 1125 had a gloomy look on his face. Is this Sumu from some powerful family? How did he create an S-rank dream world on his first try? Did he just happen to get a basic dream world he was good at? Damn it. First place in every round gets a reward. Before, all of us only scored B rank at best. Now that this guy came out of nowhere, he's going to take all the prize rewards. Some candidates even stared in disbelief. An S-rank dream world? Even my grandpa needs time to design and plan one before he can make it. How did this guy pull it off in just a day? Outsiders, bring in the family's professional raters to check this out. If the underworld doesn't really match S-rank standards, we must formally file a complaint. The storm girl of the exam shouted into the empty space before her, in places he couldn't see. Comments kept pouring in on the stream. Compared to the test takers who are locked in, the audience roaming outside has a much easier time. Streaming room 3484 was flooded by crowds of visitors. But now that the dream was submitted, The only thing left in the scene was me recovering my mental power with my eyes closed. Many scenes could only be relayed by veteran viewers in the chat, turning on their loudspeakers to explain. Comments like Yin Senk and Bulan saying they felt like they were dying left the new viewers stunned. Seriously? Once the exam ends, their works have to be publicly displayed. I want to see whether this so-called underworld is honestly as wild as you all say. Quite a few Dreamweavers are present today. Ordinary viewers can only watch from the outside, but it's different for creators. Those who awakened as Dreamweavers can enter the dream web and personally experience the candidates' creations, their dream worlds. I want to visit the underworld too. Bro just became a Dreamweaver. Perfect timing. Anyone else in the field want to form a party? Let's go to the underworld and check it out together. Type 1 in chat if you want to join. As expected, the comments were flooded with 1 South. Watching my original force points keep climbing, I couldn't help feeling overjoyed. From the start of building the underworld to the submission and scoring, my original force points already reached 200. I tried applying that force to level up as a Dreamweaver. As my original force points decreased, my spent mental power was gradually restored. The exhaustion faded away too. But my Dreamweaver level was still F after checking again. No change there. But my mental power limit went up from 30 to 32. That's obvious progress you can really see. I can keep accumulating original force myself. If leveling up relied only on my own compatibility, it would take forever. Meanwhile, the examiner in charge of my area was also shocked by my score. In this area, is there really a candidate who can create an S-rank dream world? This young man's name was Chun Dehem. His face was full of disbelief. Since the dream web is managed by S-rank masters, there shouldn't be any errors in judgment. But this result today seemed really bizarre to Chun Dehem. Normally, if an examiner notices something suspicious, they have to report it to the chief examiner. But he figured he could handle it himself. There's no need to bother any Dreamweaver exam supervisor above grade B. After all, exam zones are divided according to students' attributes. If you end up in his zone, it naturally means the candidate's overall stats aren't great. This S rank is probably just a Dreamweb error, to be able to create an S rank dream right after awakening. Imagine how far they go after they grow up. Chun Dehan decided to personally enter the underworld for a first-hand experience. If he encounters anything above a B rank in this dream, he'll then report to the main examiner. After all, as a grade C Dreamweaver, he's confident enough to handle a rookie's first dream. He's sure he has what it takes. Dreamweb, load the underworld exam scenario for candidate 3484. As soon as he finished speaking, the space around Chun Dehan shook violently. Moments later, he was transported into the scene.
The underworld.
The first thing to come into view was a mass of black fog. A cold, blue stone path stretched out beneath his feet into the darkness. Chun Dehan started observing his surroundings. He curled his lips slightly. This is his rank? Even though the black mist and chilling wind in front of him could send shivers down anyone's spine. That's really all there is to it. After all, he'd fought on the void battlefield before. He's witnessed plenty of life-or-death brutality. A little turbulence like this wasn't about to make him back down. Looks like the underworld is just for show, huh? Just as a trace of disdain flashed in Chun Dehan's eyes, he suddenly heard a loud shout from behind. Now that you're dead, why are you still standing here? This sudden voice instantly made Chun Dehan's hair stand on end. The moment he turned around, he felt a black iron chain wrap around his throat. Standing in front of him was a bull-headed monster shrouded in deathly aura. The ox-headed creature gripped a chain in its hand, its face bluish-purple, looking every bit like a soul-reaping fiend. It's actually a half-finished dream creature. Chun Dehan's heart skipped a beat. A bad feeling surged within him. Originally, it was just a scene depicting death, nothing dangerous. But when a dream creature shows up, that's a whole different story. This candidate not only completed the dream scenario, but also used extra mental power to create a dream creature. What kind of mental power does it take to pull that off? Chun Dehan's expression changed drastically. He hurriedly tried to speak and ask Dream Web to pause. But the black chain around his neck suddenly tightened. The ox-headed monster jerked the chain hard. There was a loud thud. Chun Dehan felt himself go weightless and was yanked along by the monster's chain. At the same time, black smoke started burning off the chain. A soul-searing pain burst from deep inside Chun Dehan's heart. When he looked up again, he saw someone who looked exactly like him, standing right where he was a moment before. He himself had become a semi-transparent, soul-like being. My soul was actually yanked out of my body by this bull-headed monster. Oh my god. This underworld is absolutely a genuine S-rank potential dream. Chun Dehan's face instantly filled with terror.
He rasped out, straining his hoarse throat,
calling for the king of Meng Meng Wang. But before he could finish shouting, the panic on Chun Dehan's face faded away. All his thoughts of asking for help slipped away like sand. In the end, he had just one thought left. I'm already dead. Yeah, I'm already dead. Hurry up and get on the road. The ox-head monster scolded while pulling the chains. He, who was originally a bit confused, had all his doubts instantly dispelled the moment the ox-head scolded him. Just walking towards the gates of hell with lifeless eyes, muttering the words, I'm already dead, over and over in his mouth, and passed through the gates of hell in a dazed state, walking all the way to the edge of the river of forgetfulness. An inexplicable sense of grievance rushed directly to Chun Dehan's heart. He had a strong urge to cry. A 3-tier small bridge spanned across the river, while underneath, countless crying ghosts roared in the river water. As if falling off the bridge by accident would make one a member of the crying ghosts in this river. The ox-head monster stopped by the bridge and chanted a poem. Bronze snakes and iron dogs feast as they please. Falling into the river of helplessness offers no way out. Young man, if you had committed many sins during your life, then take the lower bridge. If you lived a mediocre life, then take the middle bridge. If you did good deeds and accumulated virtue, and were a good person, then take the upper bridge. After saying this, the iron chain on Chun Dehan's neck loosened. His whole body involuntarily walked over. Past events began to flash before his eyes like passing scenes. Just coming of age, he awakened as a dream weaver, got admitted to a top university, achieved some success 2 years later, fought alongside his mentor on the void battlefield, and finished off a star behemoth. As past events kept surfacing, his originally dazed mind also recovered somewhat. But somehow, he felt he should be able to take the upper bridge. At the same time, a strong thought broke free, prompting him to yell at the sky, Old man, save me. As his voice faded, a certain restriction inside Chun Dehan's body was broken. A spiritual light flew out from his soul body and quickly integrated into the dream web. Dreamweaver. Inside the board director's office of a top university, a little silver-haired old man who was drinking suddenly went theft and spat out his liquor. Oh no, my disciple is in trouble. Subsequently, a golden figure appeared out of thin air in the underworld, barely managing to grab Chun Dehan from the bridge of helplessness and pull him down. Old man, you finally came. This student's dreamscape is absolutely insane. This underworld truly has S-rank potential. Look at your pathetic state. The old man also started to examine the underworld's environment and couldn't help but marvel. This student's imagination is unprecedented. To actually have something like the ox-head monster, such a powerful dream creature. If this weren't still an exam within the dream web space, I would have to put in some effort to suppress it myself. Is this really something a newly awakened student can achieve? What they didn't know was that this, in fact, was completely replicated by me from ancient China. Ding, Chun Dehan, felt extreme terror towards your dream. Creation, the incomplete underworld. Origin power plus 25. Chun Fenghui was shocked by your creation, the incomplete underworld. Origin power plus 500. Damn, here comes a big client. Looking at my suddenly soaring origin power points, I instantly understood that the amount of origin power obtained is judged based on the strength of the person being shocked. This person named Chun Fenghui is simply awesome. It must be some big shot arriving in person. I didn't immediately use this origin power, but saved it instead, to prepare for creating better dreamscapes later. This first dream weaving exam also ended amidst the chief examiner's shock. Next was the announcement of the exam results. Candidates with a total score below 30 points will all be eliminated. S rank is 100 points. B rank is 80 points, and so on. My S rank dreamscape potential naturally earned the 100 point reward. The top 100 candidates will also receive certain rewards, and the dreamscapes created by the top 100 students will all be open for a limited time within 3 days. Interested dreamweavers can spend a certain amount of money to visit. Hearing this, my body suddenly jolted. With the dreamscape open to the public for visiting, it will definitely shock more people. Wouldn't my origin power points just skyrocket then? While my thoughts flashed, another brand new and special announcement was published. As decided by the examination committee, for candidate No. 3484, Sumu's Underworld Dreamscape, an entry threshold is set. As the dreamscape may cause psychological and mental harm to people, only those with unyielding determination may explore deeply. To ensure safety, only dreamweavers with a mental strength of up to 300 points and a rank of C or higher are qualified to observe. As soon as this notice came out, it triggered another sensation. For the examiners to actually say this, it's enough to prove the immense value of my underworld. Although a threshold was set, this is after all an A's rank dreamscape created by a candidate. For a time, many prominent families began arranging for people to enter and investigate. What awaits me will be another handsome influx of origin power points. As for the idea that someone, after observing the underworld, might want to replicate it, I'm not worried about this at all. To dreamweavers, every dreamscape stems from one's own understanding. Even if the observers replicate the underworld one-to-one, the effect it releases would merely be a superficial imitation. It wouldn't reach 1/10 of the original underworld. Before long, I received the first place reward sent by the examiners. Dreamweaver's Heartfield. A dreamscape heartfield that can be stored within one's own sea of consciousness, with the function of storing one's own dream creations. After reading this introduction, my eyes lit up. I had heard of this thing before. It's a dream-weaving item created by top-tier dreamweavers, equivalent to a small world. With this thing, I can store my meticulously crafted underworld inside it, without worrying about it dissipating due to a lack of mental energy to sustain it, and just take it out from inside when needed. For low-tier dreamweavers, this is simply a divine artifact. Having this thing will make the next few rounds of testing much easier. This couldn't help but make me look forward to the upcoming rewards. As the eliminated people left the dream web crying, this first round of testing also drew to a close. The next exam will take place in 3 days. When I received the notices, I was full of doubts about the content of the exam, because all of us will be sent to a place called Dream City. That is to say, in these 3 days before the exam, we will all be living inside Dream City. Furthermore, the notices clearly stated that 3 days later, students with scores above 30 points can participate in the next round of exams. Right now, the students with scores below 30 have already all been eliminated. Obviously, there's a slight contradiction in this rule. In other words, we are very likely to consume points within Dream City.
Perhaps.
This Dream City is also a part of this exam? While thinking, my entire body was once again shrouded in mist, and I fell asleep, waking up again. I was already on a bus heading to Dream City. Hey, stop sleeping. We have arrived at Dream City. Get up, all of you. A gruff voice interrupted the sleep of the students on the bus. Everyone get off. I still have to go pick up the next trip. What is going on lately? How did so many people arrive all at once? I opened my eyes gradually, only to find myself surrounded by students just as dazed as I was.
Clearly.
These were all candidates who had collectively passed the first test. Some students, unable to stand the driver's rude shouting, snapped back with a few complaints. But when they saw clearly that the man before them was a burly, bronze-skinned fellow with a ferocious face, they all lowered their heads and wilted away. However, the man didn't plan on letting them off that easily. He pointed at several people in succession and said, "You few, the fare this time is 10 points. For everyone else, the fare is 5 points. You can only get off after paying the points." As soon as these words were spoken, the entire crowd was in an uproar. Even just paying the bus fare costs 5 points? It was just as I suspected. In this Dream City, everything requires points to get done. since a taxi ride costs 5 points. Then the cost of food, clothing, housing, and transportation after entering, I'm afraid, will only be higher. Some students on the bus who were right on the edge of the passing line broke down instantly. If they couldn't gather 30 points in 3 days, they wouldn't even have the qualification to enter the second exam. The driver scanned the crowd impatiently. 5 points won't kill you. Hurry up and get off the bus. Instead of wasting time complaining, you'd better get into the city early to earn points. I'll count down from 5. For anyone who hasn't gotten up from their seat by then, if you end up with a missing arm or a broken leg, I won't be held responsible. The students had no choice but to get off the bus dejectedly. As they passed the driver, they swiped their points with expressions of sheer heartbreak. I wasn't the only one in a vehicle experiencing this. Hundreds of thousands of candidates gathering here were all facing the issue of travel fees. This scene was being broadcast to the outside world via live stream. Parents watching the stream couldn't help but feel nervous. Amidst the gloom, someone was seen speaking heatedly in the general chat channel. Brothers, the candidate in stream room 3438 is practically cheating. Why doesn't this guy named Su Mu have to pay the travel fee? These words startled everyone. Wait, why does the name Su Mu sound so familiar? When it was my turn to get off the bus, the driver, who had been fierce and malicious earlier, suddenly broke into a kind smile. Little brother, you've had a long journey. Let's just waive your travel fee. Here, take these 10 points. Consider it a meeting gift from your older brother. Seeing this scene, the audience in the live stream room was instantly in an uproar. This is unfair. Why did my Zihan have to pay 5 points? Is the cheating really going to be this obvious? Just as the audience was noisily threatening to report it, the next few bullet chat messages made them fall silent. Jang Hongshao from King District didn't have to pay a toll either. And the driver gave her 5 points as a meeting gift. Same over here. It seems all candidates ranked in the top 100 of the Waxia exam district got gifts. 5 points. Only Su Mu, who is ranked first, was given 10 points. So he's Su Mu, the one who came in first in the first test. Those who had just entered my stream suddenly realized, people above, this is a well-deserved reward, okay? If you're so capable, why don't you get into the top 100? Those who hadn't gotten off the bus yet immediately cast envious glances my way. However, I furrowed my brows tight, feeling a bit puzzled. After taking these 10 points, what will I have to pay back? Smart. I like talking to smart people like you. After praising me, the driver pulled a slip of paper from his pocket. Everything that needs to be said is on here. After reading it, the right to choose is entirely yours. Of course, I believe you won't give up this opportunity to earn points. I took the paper, said I understood, and hurried off the bus. After all, with so many people having paid the toll, I was the only one who got a reward. To avoid unnecessary trouble, I had to quickly leave the scene first. Finally, I could vaguely hear the sound of candidates behind me bargaining with the driver. Enough of your nonsense. Pay an extra 10 points before getting off. Just enough to help me recover a bit. This area of Dream City was very cold. Many candidates were constantly rubbing their hands and consuming mental power to create a few pieces of clothing for themselves. This is the advantage of being a dreamweaver, able to weave dreams anytime and anywhere. As long as the mental power output is maintained, dream creations can exist in reality indefinitely. I walked forward, blending into the crowd. Before long, I saw the towering walls of Dream City. Everyone, look! The rules of Dream City are written on the wall. A student in the crowd shouted. Everyone looked up, only to see several lines of ancient text inscribed on the city wall. Welcome candidates to Dream City. You will survive in Dream City for 3 days. Only those with more than 30 points will be eligible for the next round of exams. After entering Dream City, please be sure to follow these rules. 1. Within Dream City, it is strictly forbidden to engage in behavior that violates safety and order. Once violated, it will draw severe punishment from the law enforcement team. 2. Candidates must not attack each other, unless you are in a designated area. 3. Any attempt to use loopholes to gain points will be treated as cheating. 4. There is a curfew at night, and going out is prohibited. Those who do not follow the rules will be punished. 5. The above rules only apply during the day. The first 4 rules seemed normal enough. But what on earth was this last one? I have a hunch that in the next 3 days, this dream city probably won't be peaceful. If someone tries to steal points at night, I, as the top ranker, will likely be the most targeted. It seems I need to hurry and recreate a version of the underworld. This time, I guarantee it will be a complete version. While others go out at night to burn, kill, and pillage, I'll show up at night to scare people. Harvesting origin power shouldn't be a problem, right? I wasn't the only one who understood the rules. When the surrounding students with low points understood, their faces instantly filled with dread. It's all over now. I only have 30 points in total. If I don't earn enough points working in Dream City, will I have to become a bandit too? I can't possibly beat the high-ranking people. Damn it, these 3 days in Dream City. Could they actually be the second round of assessment? While everyone was discussing, suddenly a student shouted, "Are there any candidates from Jiangzhou District? Looking for teammates from Jiangzhou District to form a party. Jiangzhou no. One middle school is preferred. My mental potential is C grade, with a compatibility of 66%. Looking for 4 teammates of the same level to party up. Let's survive these 3 days together." Upon hearing this, the others immediately began to consider their options. For those with enough points, they could watch each other's backs, greatly increasing their chances of survival. Although the rules didn't explicitly allow this, the fact that it wasn't forbidden meant there was room to maneuver. If anyone wants to try anything funny later on, they'd have to consider if their fists are strong enough. So right at Meng City Gate, small groups started sticking together. Only a few people left the crowd and headed into the city. I wasn't planning on teaming up with anyone. With my current points, I should be able to survive 3 days just fine. If teaming up exposes me as the top scorer, then it just wouldn't be worth it. Just as I was about to leave the group myself, a commotion arose at the entrance of Dream City. A group of carts selling food appeared, heading toward us. Braised chicken, braised duck, skewers, all kinds of delicious aromas. All sorts of mouth-watering foods were brought out for sale. 5 lamb skewers for 1 point. The street vendors started calling out to potential buyers. In no time at all, the gate of Meng City had turned into a food street. Some students with less self-control were already eager to try. Kids, you must be hungry, right? Fried noodles, 1 bowl for 1 point. You need to eat to have the energy, don't you? Hearing this, some students started heading toward the vendors. After all, we'll be staying in Meng City for 3 days. Spending some points is unavoidable. Besides, 1 point isn't a lot. Most of the people here can afford it. At worst, we can work some jobs in the city later to earn it back. With that in mind, many people began buying food. Of course, there were still plenty of students who resisted the temptation and just went straight into the city. I watched the scene and started thinking. Somehow, I felt like these vendors were bait set up by the test organizers. Their goal was probably to find ways to drain our points. Luckily, I'm not hungry right now, so I ignored the tempting smell in the air and entered the city. On the way, I saw some signs. Restroom, turn left here. Entry costs 2 points. There were also some women with red armbands wandering around the city gate. They were holding up signs saying littering will cost you 2 points per offense. Wow. So this is the trap they've set up. The viewers in my live stream saw all this from my point of view and started making jokes. If those who bought snacks start littering, these lady managers will definitely teach them a lesson. Honestly, I was thinking the same thing. But whatever happens to them later has nothing to do with me. After entering the city, a skinny boy darted out from my side, with a fawning smile on his face. "Anything I can help you with?" Before he could get closer, I took a step back and asked cautiously, "Don't worry, bro. I'm not here to scam you. It's definitely a good thing." The boy pointed to a corner of the street. "Can you guys quiet down a bit? Is this some special dialogue triggered because I have a lot of points?" I wondered to myself. Still, I stayed alert and walked to the spot he indicated. When I got there, the boy said, "You can call me Little Snake. I'm the local know-it all around here. I only serve big clients with 60 points or more, and that includes 60 points exactly. I can answer 3 general questions for you. All you have to do is pay me 5 points, bro." like secrets about accommodations, or where you can earn more points. As long as I know, I'll definitely answer. If I don't know, it counts as one question wasted. Of course, one of my 3 answers won't be entirely true. You'll have to figure that out yourself. Each student can only get this offer at the start. Even if you see me later, bro, you won't get such a good deal again. Little Snake rubbed his hands together eagerly. How about letting your buddy make the first sale, bro? For just 5 points, the know-it-all will answer 3 questions. And this special offer is only available at the beginning. I didn't hesitate much. I nodded and paid him 5 points. If Little Snake is telling the truth, then those points will be totally worth it. Got it, bro. Go ahead and ask your questions. Little Snake looked excited. If I know the answer, I'll tell you. Alright, tell me one secret you know about places to stay. That was my first question. After pondering for a moment, Little Snake answered, in our Meng City. There are rarely any outsiders here. There's only one real hotel in the city. It used to be a prison for detaining astral behemoths, then it got repurposed. The secret about accommodations lies here. Given the limited conditions for renovation, the hotel can accommodate up to 3,000 examinees. The rest have to stay in local guest houses. But bro, you gotta trust me. At this point, he looked at me seriously. Outsiders, staying in guest houses at night in Meng City is not a good idea. I nodded and began gathering useful information. There's only one real hotel, and it can only hold so many people. The rest have to stay at other people's places. Staying over isn't a good thing. Meng City sure is interesting. Where can you safely maximize your points? I asked my second question, and put emphasis on the word safe. Bro, you catch on quick. You instantly saw through my earlier hinting. Little Snake laughed awkwardly. There are 2 ways to earn lots of points. First is going out at night. Second is participating in Dreammaker duels. What people usually call underground fights. Trust me, there's no faster way to rack up points than this. The first option is life-threatening. The second one could leave you injured at worst. But you can recover by spending points. So compared to that, Dreammaker duels are much safer. I thought it over for a bit. This must correspond to the second rule. Examinees are not allowed to attack each other, unless it's at certain events. Obviously, the Dreammaker duel arena is exactly that venue. It's a good place for me. I can win duels and earn points, and amaze the crowd, harvesting acclaim. Thinking about it, I was getting more excited. Final question. What happens to people who mess around at night? What the heck? People who've been watching my live stream started getting confused. What kind of question is Sumu asking? Didn't he read the rules carefully in advance? The rules only apply during the day. Exactly. Isn't this obviously wasting a question? Of course, I couldn't see my own chatroom comments. Instead, I was staring at Little Snake, thinking over the rules. Rule 1. In Meng City, it is strictly prohibited to violate public safety and order. Anyone who breaks it will face harsh punishment from the law enforcement squad. Rule 4. Nighttime is strictly curfew hours. No wandering around during this period. Rule breakers will be punished. Rule 5. The above rules only apply during the day. These 3 rules obviously conflict. It says the rules only apply during the day. So why mention that nighttime is curfew hours? And rule breakers get punished? So I came up with a bold hypothesis. If a student, at night, robbed other people's points on a grand scale, would they be punished as soon as daylight comes? After all, they violated the first and fourth daytime rule. But at night, rules are invalid. Then when day comes, repercussions follow immediately. That's the loophole I hypothesized. The rules are meant to entice examinees to take risks at night. Based on this guess, I asked Little Snake the last question. Little Snake was clearly stunned, and only answered after thinking for a bit. Well, for examinees, there are no rules at night. His answer was vague. I didn't bother to press further. After Little Snake handed me a map of Meng City, he turned and left. I unfolded the map and felt surprised. There were 2 marked spots. One was the accommodation area. The other was where the underground fights happen. What surprised me was, those 2 spots are right on top of each other. That means this place is both the hotel and the venue for earning points with duels. Just arrived in Meng City and it's already a string of events. But here, what does this have to do with the second round of the exam? With doubts? I headed over to the spot marked on the map. As soon as I walked in, I saw several students in various school uniforms, sitting scattered around. Looks like some who entered the city early. Managed to find the hotel location too. I went up to the front desk and checked the hotel room prices. Single room, 8 points per day. Deluxe single room, including buffet, 15 points per day. VIP suite, includes luxurious 3 meals, and the hotel's special services, 30 points per day. Only available for those with more than 70 points. Special note: all hotel rooms are for single occupancy only. If more than one person is found staying after 6 p.m., you bear the consequences. These prices are insanely expensive. People in the chat exploded after seeing the prices. Even the cheapest single room costs 8 points per day. This Meng City hotel is such a ripoff. Deluxe single room, 45 points for 3 days. If my kid dares stay in that room, I'll break their leg after the exam. Seriously, am I the only one who cares about that special service in the VIP suite? Is it legit or not? His question got answered pretty quickly. I walked up to the front desk and asked the girl there, "What special services do you offer in your VIP suites?" The receptionist just smiled and pointed to the map in my hand. She said, "Sir, whatever you're looking for, we have it right here." Looks like I was right. The Dreammaker Duel Arena really is here. VIP suite. Let's book it for a day. I didn't hesitate and paid. Oh my gosh, 30 points a day. He just paid like that. Viewers in the chat got rowdy one after another. Even the top scorer wouldn't splurge like this. Students sitting in the lobby looked shocked too. They turned to see someone actually book the VIP room. Wow, is he a big shot with over 70 points? I ignored them and followed directions to the VIP suite. After looking around, I finally spotted something on the table. An invitation letter. On it were 6 big words: Dreammaker Duel Arena Fight. With the start time, 3 p.m. Welcome to your arrival. Just as expected. Exactly like this. Booking the VIP suite is definitely an all-or-nothing move. If the buyer can't earn enough extra points in one day, it'll be a massive loss for any examinee. A bloodbath, basically. I checked the current time and started on today's plan. First, I'll create dreams in my room. Then at 3 p.m., I'll store the dream in my Dreammaker Mind Palace and take it to the arena with everything planned out. I took out the slip the driver gave me earlier, opened it up, and found an escort mission. The starting point is a spot in downtown. The end point is outside Meng City. Time, midnight. Reward, 40 points. Seeing that number, I couldn't help but tremble inside. What an enticing sum. It's so much, it's irresistible. Thinking carefully, I realized this mission has obvious issues. The reward is huge, which proves that the difficulty of the mission is definitely not low. But I'll still choose to go. Although 12 o'clock midnight isn't a good thing for others, it couldn't be better for me. I can earn points by doing missions, and also release the underworld to harvest source energy. It simply couldn't be better. It's settled then. The arena in the afternoon, then stir up more trouble at night, and finally do the escort mission at midnight. The day is packed tight just like that. After everything was ready, I began to recreate the underworld. The greenish stone slabs and the ancient, desolate ghost gate rose from the ground. I don't know if it's because it's the second time creating the same scene, but the mental power consumed this time was significantly less. Gradually, I had fully constructed the complete ox head, and even his sworn brother Horseface slowly emerged carrying the soul-hooking chains. At the end of the bridge of helplessness, an old woman brewing soup stepped out from the black mist, immediately followed by a towering and domineering ancient Chinese capital. Rising from the earth, this ghost city named Fengdu occupied a realm within the dream-making heartfield. At this point, I vaguely sensed that my mental energy was showing signs of exhaustion. Without a moment's hesitation, I injected the previously accumulated source energy into the underworld. With a loud hum, black mist surged around the underworld. On the previously deserted Yellow Spring Road, many terrified ghosts appeared. Ghostly wails echoed incessantly before the cramped ghost gate. 18 ferocious ghosts with blue faces and sharp fangs entrenched here. Patrolling the surroundings, a figure dressed in a black robe, a solemn magistrate holding a brush, sat in the Yama Hall of Fengdu City, holding the magistrate's brush and the ledger of life and death. By now, I had consumed the 500 source energy points I had accumulated earlier. This gave the dream the true essence of an S-rank dream making. I looked over the small world I had created and nodded in satisfaction at the underworld. Even now, this underworld has not been fully perfected, but it already possesses extremely strong defense and the ability to terrify others. Once an emergency occurs, I can directly pull the underworld out of the dream-making heart field and bring it into the mortal world. Once an enemy falls into the underworld, it becomes my home turf. After all that tossing and turning, it was already noon. I naturally wouldn't miss out on the luxurious meals. Those 30 points can't go to waste. As soon as I stepped out, I saw the nearby VIP suite No. 5, from which a young man also emerged. The youth glanced at me, looking somewhat surprised. Not a student from a prestigious school? That's quite rare in the VIP suites. As he spoke, he leaned over to introduce himself. I'm Jang, from the Dream Tower affiliated middle school in Xingye district. You look really unfamiliar, brother. What's your name? As the saying goes, one doesn't hit a smiling face. Now that I have the underworld as a trump card, I have no need to hide. Su Mu, from Longtang High School in Linhai City. You said your name is Su Mu? When Jiang Ling heard the name, his eyes widened. It's actually you, kid. The one who created an S-rank potential dream and is first on the heaven ranking. Heaven ranking? I felt unfamiliar with this sudden new term. It's the points leaderboard. However, we students in the Xin district are used to calling it the heaven ranking, Jiang Ling said, sizing me up and down with clicks of his tongue. Linhai City. I remember it's not a major economic zone, right? You've really soared to the heavens in one step this time. Even if your performance is average from now on, getting into a top-tier academy is more than enough. As he spoke, he patted my shoulder. Going to eat, right? Mind if we walk together? We can exchange some information about Dream City on the way. I have some exclusive news on hand, which might be useful to you. I also sized up this familiar fellow and didn't refuse his invitation. Along the way, he said, the top 100 students would receive 5 points from the driver and a hidden mission card. When I said that the points I received were 10, Jiang Ling almost spat out a mouthful of blood, lamenting that the treatment for first place was indeed special. Next, he took out the note for the escort mission, which showed a 30-point reward upon completion. I said my reward was 40. Hearing this, Jiang Ling was moved to tears. Is there no justice anymore? The examiners are simply showing favoritism. My expression twitched. I thought that the first student I talked to in Dream City was quite expressive. On the way, Jiang Ling also told me some exclusive news, like the Dream Maker duel at 3 p.m. Besides the examinees, the original residents of Dream City can also participate. This is not good news for us examinees. After all, examinees are all newbies who just awakened. Competition between examinees can still be considered fair. But once the original residents of Dream City join in, it's very likely that they will suppress others with their cultivation realm. One moment you might be fighting a fellow A-rank novice, and the next moment a C-rank big shot might jump onto the arena. However, as for the specific rules, Jiang Ling stated that we wouldn't know until the arena officially begins. As the elevator neared the restaurant floor, Jiang Ling leaned in again and said, I'll introduce you to some friends later. To survive in Dream City, one must interact with other examinees during these 3 days. Of course, if you want to hide your identity, that's fine too, based on my previous observations. In the VIP restaurant we're going to, there are at least a dozen top 100 experts. When they talk about you, the number one on the heaven ranking, they are very unconvinced. Hearing his words, I raised an eyebrow, then shook my head slightly. No need to hide. Just go ahead and introduce me. Hehe, I like your powerhouse mentality, brother. If anyone dares to find trouble later, I'll help you. There are many of us. No need to fear. The elevator reached the restaurant floor and opened slowly. At a glance, there were already some students sitting inside. At the same time, the people in the restaurant also looked over. The show is starting. Bro! Jiang Ling met the gazes of others and waved towards a corner of the hall. Sister, look. This is the new friend I made. His name is Su Mu. As soon as these words were spoken, everyone's gaze in the room instantly focused on me alone. This name, to these top 100 students, was far too familiar. He's the Sumu who is number 1 on the heaven ranking. The genius who created an S-rank potential dream. To think we'd bump into him here. Immediately, jealousy, scrutiny, hatred, and various other expressions appeared on some people's faces. If it were anyone else, they would surely feel like thorns were in their back, uncomfortable all over. But for me, who has the confidence, I didn't feel a thing. When the viewers in the live stream saw this scene, they all got excited. It's coming, it's coming! The first gathering of geniuses. The people here are all geniuses, from major districts like the Shinge district. They're different from Sumu, who came from the lower district. So what if he has S-rank mental potential? The things most people here have experienced are beyond what ordinary people can imagine. I also heard that even before some of them awakened as dream masters, they were pulled into the starry dreamscape to witness behemoths of the stars up close. This Sumu is still going to participate in the arena this afternoon. Do you think he might not even survive the afternoon? After Jang waved, he led me to 2 girls in the hall and began the introductions. First, he said to a girl with a calm temperament, "This is my sister, Jang Hongxiao." Then he introduced a girl in red, "And this is also my sister, Tang Ning." "Hello, both of you." I greeted them politely. The calm girl nodded politely in response. "So you're Sumu?" The girl named Tang Ning next to her asked with a smile. "Which prestigious family are you from?" "A great family with the surname Su." "I don't think I've ever heard of one. Or is your grandfather from some big clan?" "What the hell is a prestigious family?" I grumbled to myself. As a descendant of Wang and Huang, does having 1.4 billion compatriots count as a family? On the surface, however, I gave a gentle smile. Just an ordinary student. No special background. When Tang Ning heard he was just an ordinary student, she looked at Zhang Ling with some doubt. Seeing the other nod, her expression gradually turned to shock. "You mean without any support from elders? You created an S-rank dream by yourself?" Before she could finish her sentence, a male voice rang out from behind. "So you're Sumu. I've heard a lot about you." Turning around, I saw a guy walking over with a smile on his face. "I heard that an unknown legend appeared in the first round. Looking at your appearance today, you really do live up to the reputation. Let me introduce myself. I'm Qian Cheng, from the Shen district." As he spoke, he reached out for a handshake. "It's just a greeting between candidates. Does it have to be so formal?" I couldn't help but feel a bit guarded, but I stood up to shake his hand anyway. "Sumu from Binhai City." Qian Cheng thought for a moment, before remembering where Binhai City was.
He frowned slightly and said, "The lower district?"
Before I could reply, his face transitioned back to a smile. "You're joining the arena battle this afternoon too, right? I really want to see how much strength this legend possesses. Who could create an S-rank dream upon their first awakening? Just how capable are you?" By now, Qian Cheng's words were clearly provocative. "Interested in a couple of rounds this afternoon?" I know this Qian Cheng. He's the genius who created a B-rank potential dream. The grave of withered bones. I've seen the death dream he created. Mountains of corpses and seas of blood. It's incredibly realistic. This guy must have been on a battlefield. It's starting! How exciting. Dream masters are just like this. No one yields to anyone at the same level. Listening to Qian Cheng's words, I raised an eyebrow. But this suited me just fine. I could use my Waxia dreams while simultaneously crushing a genius of the same rank. This kind of drama should be popular with the viewers. The more viewers there are, the more source power I'll obtain. Just as I was about to smile and agree, I heard Qian Cheng add, "I'll bet 30 points to fight you. Win or lose, these 30 points are yours. Consider it making a friend. What do you say?" As he spoke, he opened the point trading system. On my personal panel to the side, a message box immediately popped up. Accept 30 points from candidate Qian Cheng. Giving away 30 points right at the start of a transfer. I looked at the man in front of me, realizing something was wrong. Ahem. Zhang Ling beside me also coughed in time to warn me. I looked at the panel and smiled. I backhandedly modified the data and sent it to Qian Cheng. How about this? I have plenty of points. I'll give you 40 points. Let's have a match, and consider it making a friend. Some viewers in the live stream were dumbfounded. Are these two dreaming themselves stupid? Just for a match. Desperately giving away points at the start. It's a trap. Do you remember a rule in Dream City? It is forbidden to obtain points through any illegal means. When everyone saw this comment, they suddenly understood. Finding excuses to transfer large amounts of points between candidates counts as a violation, right? This kid is quite devious. If someone couldn't help but take those 30 points, they'd be punished immediately for breaking the rules. The reality was exactly as they guessed. Qian Cheng was indeed trying to test me using the Dream City rules. But unfortunately, my understanding of the rules was not inferior at all. Seeing this, no sign of disappointment showed on his face, as if this malicious attempt was just something he did casually. Don't you dare chicken out of the arena match this afternoon. Number 1, enjoy your meal. With that, Qian Cheng turned and left. This guy is very sinister. Which school is he from? Zhang Ling leaned forward and studied him for a while, but couldn't remember. Tong Ning, however, had a slight impression. Judging by the name, he should be from that Qian family. Zhang Ling thought for a while, and gained some recollection. Is it the family protected by that S-Rank Dream Master surnamed Qian? I remember now. Speaking of which, the establishment of the Dream Net was somewhat related to them. However, as that S-Rank Dream Master fell, the family declined quite a bit. For this kid to score so high, he must be the one the Qian family is focusing all their resources on. Brother, you're in for a treat. Listening to Zhang Ling's words, Tong Ning added a question, and revealed some info she had scouted. For the arena match this afternoon, anyone entering must pay an entry fee of 30 points, and each person can only go up once. The points earned are linked to the number of matches. A successful challenge has a guaranteed yield of 30 points. But once you're knocked off the stage, 90% of your previously earned points go to the winner. As VIPs. After we go on stage, we have one chance to pick our opponent. The chosen person cannot refuse. However, everyone entering will have a restriction placed on them. Everyone else you see will be wearing black robes, making it very hard to distinguish who is who. That guy is probably afraid he won't be able to pick you then. So he pulled that stunt. He hopes that during the arena battle this afternoon, you'll step forward yourself. If he defeats you on the first day, he'll hold an absolute advantage on the leaderboard and attract more attention from the top universities. After all, the current Qian family no longer has the status to casually pick among top universities. I reorganized the information I received. The rule about being unable to distinguish opponents is simply a disaster for candidates. If you end up against someone above rank, it's basically just handing them points for free. Thanks a lot. I'm willing to share this information with Tong Ning. As a gesture of goodwill, no need to thank me. I'm not that generous, you know. If I find out that your skills are on par with Qian Cheng, I can guarantee I'll be the next one to challenge you, Tong Ning said with a smile. Since you scored 20 points higher than us, you'd better bring your sophomore level skills. Otherwise, I'll make sure you end up taking the second round lying down. This is really frustrating. The rewards for each round of the exam are pretty generous. Zhang Ling sighed. So this young lady is still holding a grudge? And so, a rather strange lunch began here. Gotta admit, the 30-point room meal package is actually pretty nice. Half an hour later, I returned to my room on underground level 17. While checking out my attribute panel, I suddenly noticed my source power had made a huge jump. Someone named Wang Ri contributed 500 points all at once. Looks like another big shot. And the others are each providing at least 6 points of source power. Those tiny decimal increases from before are now barely noticeable. Is this because the underworld dream creation is only open to dream makers ranked C or above? After thinking for a moment, I used 200 source power to boost my mental strength, saving the rest for emergencies later. Just like that, my mental strength rose from 32.5 to 34.5 instantly. Hey, so what if my compatibility with the dream maker profession is low? With plenty of source power, I'm not worried about increasing my mental strength. As I was getting ready for the afternoon match, the underworld from my first round exam was blowing up online. Even a famous writer, wrote an article about the underworld experience, especially the feelings on the bridge of forgetfulness, as if he was truly about to enter reincarnation. Once the article was published, the underworld's popularity soared again. Even more people were lining up to experience it. At the same time, some people camping in my live stream began looking forward to what new landscapes the revamped underworld would offer. When it was almost time, I stepped out of my room and followed the map to the arena, guided by staff in black the entire way. I walked through several long corridors and finally arrived at a heavy black door. I tried pushing the door open. Inside was a circular hall with a massive round arena in the center, and rows upon rows of spectator seats surrounding it. Many figures in black robes were already seated there. The attendant led me to the VIP viewing room on the second floor. Through the one-way glass, I could overlook the entire arena.
Then,
They brought me to a room clearly marked No.18. Sir, this is your room number, which will be your alias in this tournament. Inside, you'll find a fruit platter and other amenities, as well as the official rules. This arena tournament will last until 5:30 p.m. You won't be able to leave this room before then. With that, the black-clad staff opened the door and led me in. The glass in the private room gave a clear view of the arena below. I took the chance to review the arena rules. They were pretty much as Tang Ning had described, so I didn't pay extra attention, except for one more rule. After each fight, you could choose to take a break and spend 20 points to restore your mental strength. Obviously, this was meant to give each challenger a chance for a winning streak. By now, the VIP suites were packed. Looking around, everyone was in black robes, faces hidden. Yes, that's the effect of the arena's identity masking. Only the host in the center with a microphone showed his real face. I think the host was Wang Ri, principal of Dream Tower Academy. Gasps erupted from the audience and VIP seats alike. This arena really draws a big crowd, huh? He's the principal of the top Dream Maker Academy in the country. SG Dream Maker. The name made my heart skip a beat. Isn't Wang Ri, besides Chen Fengqi, the other person who contributed 500 source power to my total? So he's the principal of Dream Tower. Not long after, Wang Ri finished the opening speech on the arena stage and promised that those who performed well today would receive extra attention from Dream Tower. The examinees below instantly grew excited. If they could just win a few rounds on stage, even with average results in the end, they'd have a shot at being accepted for advanced study at Dream Tower. Soon, someone rushed onto the arena and volunteered to be the first challenger. That guy is reckless. Didn't even check the situation and just charged up.
but
I could already tell who he was from his voice. The same Qian Cheng who tried to provoke me at lunch. And as soon as he took the stage, he turned off his disguise. Everyone could see his real face. Looks like he really wants to steal the spotlight with this match. Ah, Sumu, come out. As soon as he said that, everyone was in an uproar. Wow, this is intense. Going straight to challenge the top of the sky rankings. This guy must be desperate for fame. That's the guy who created an S-rank dream. The livestream viewers got hyped too. Here we go. A genius who created a B-rank dream challenges Sumu. An unstoppable clash. Before anyone on stage could react, someone in the seats stood up and said, "I'm Sumu. You've got guts, kid." Daring to challenge the #1 on the sky rankings. Qian Cheng was just about to trash talk when another black-robed figure on the other side stood up. "I'm Sumu, and I'm here to accept your challenge." Then, a few more people stood up too, all claiming to be Sumu. What the heck is going on? Sitting in VIP box 18, I was totally confused. Why is everyone pretending to be me? But then I realized the answer. With the identity masking, it's basically impossible to tell who's who. And VIPs can only nominate one person to go up. If all the masked people claim to be that person, VIPs don't have the power to check. If I don't go out myself, Qian Cheng might end up facing the local guy and totally embarrass himself. The folks watching my live stream were already in stitches. This is killing me, it's too funny. This guy stood up first to grab attention. Now he's totally embarrassed himself. With all these new Sumu showing up, Qian Cheng on stage was totally confused. Sweat started pouring down his forehead. Luckily, this awkwardness didn't last too long. Through the glass of box 18, He spotted me standing up, even with the masks on.
He locked onto his target in a single glance.
I was honestly impressed by his perception. No wonder he's ranked in the top 100. Maybe during lunch, he'd already memorized my appearance and recognized me by my height and build. After I got on stage, Qiancheng was still a bit nervous, but all he could do was tough it out. Both sides got into position. The match began. Qiancheng glared at me, scoffing, "I don't care if you're Sumu or not. Either way, you're going down." Tomb of withered bones. Qiancheng reached out devoutly toward the air in front of him. He began to unleash his dreamscape. With him at the center, a barren graveyard suddenly appeared. Skeletons broke through the ground one after another, eerie and terrifying. The appearance of these bones seemed to change the entire world. Everything felt a little different. "Sumu, you're not improvising your dreamscape on the spot, are you?" Seeing his dream completely covered the entire arena, Qiancheng spoke proudly. Viewers in the live stream watched this field of bones. They were all shocked. No wonder it's a B-level potential dreamscape. Just summoning the undead by merging dreams with reality is enough to dominate the top 100, right? This Sumu is in real danger. That's so despicable. And yet, he actually used Dreamfield storage function. Some people who know my family background started complaining indignantly. Linhai City is part of the lower district. Props like Dreamfield, made by S-class dream artisans, are worth millions. There's no way an ordinary family from the lower district could afford them. But the use of items like Dreamfield, that store dreams, is allowed in this exam. After all, dream artisans eventually have to face the star beasts. Using such props is basically essential knowledge. The earlier you learn, the better. So the exam doesn't ban these items. An S-level death dream is powerful, sure, but it also takes time to construct. And even after it's created, how much mental strength can you actually maintain it with? If I had known, I would have lent Sumu one first. Jang Ling and the others were worried about me too. Hey, dream field, huh? Who doesn't have one? But before Qiancheng could bask in his pride for long, wails suddenly echoed from all around him. We died in vain. I can't accept this. I don't want to die yet. I am a general of the nation. How could I let myself be dragged to the underworld? Next, ghostly figures glowing faintly emerged around Qiancheng's boneyard. What a phony display. Qiancheng started sweating. He immediately summoned a group of skeleton archers from underground, wanting to shoot at the ghosts. But to his surprise, he actually sensed fear coming from his own skeletons. How is this possible? How could skeletons feel fear? In the next moment, he felt his link to the boneyard severed. No matter how he tried, he couldn't reconnect. Now Qiancheng truly panicked. The scene was instantly shrouded in black fog. A massive spirit gate rose from the center of the arena. The audience, most of whom were watching from close by, immediately sensed, from inside the spirit gate, a breath of death calling out to them. Those with weak willpower even wanted to step onto the stage and calmly accept death. This guy's dream construct is actually complete. Even Tang Ming, who was usually spoiled and stubborn, was unusually quiet at this moment. Her expression betrayed absolute shock. She had memorized Sumu's body and height at noon, so she recognized him instantly when he went on stage. So this is the underworld with S-level dream potential? This soul-shaking sensation of death is at least a B-level dream artisan's specialty? But Sumu is just a newly awakened F-level rookie? Liu Yang was shocked by your incomplete construct. The underworld felt astonished. Prime power plus 500. Tong Ning was shocked by your creation. Prime power plus 5. Qiancheng was terrified by your creation. Prime power plus 25. With the new underworld appearing, my prime power started surging again. Then, as the bridge of no return in Fendu City emerged, Oxhead and Horseface, black and white impermanence appeared left and right. Compared to the grandeur of the underworld, Qiancheng's B-level dream boneyard is just a cheap knockoff. A pile of bones is hardly an afterlife. Master, I surrender. Please take me as your disciple. Even if I reach a level, I still wouldn't be able to dream up something like this. Right then, Qiancheng was standing on the stone road in a daze. His legs were shaking uncontrollably. His dream construct had retreated into a quivering heap. not daring to move. Oxhead and Horseface emerged from the black fog, chains in hand. A familiar voice sounded on stage. But now that you're dead, why stop moving forward? As soon as this voice came out, before Qiancheng could react, the person in seat 666 suddenly shuddered violently. Chan Dehan was all too familiar with those words. The last time his soul was taken, that was exactly what he heard. And because of that incident, his teacher punished him by making him act as an NPC in Dream City when needed, having him go on stage to adjust scores, to prevent any student from earning too many points through the challenges. In other words, he might have to face this underworld again. Just thinking about it made him shudder. He even wanted to call his teacher and quit immediately. He couldn't last even one more minute as a proctor. If he experienced death again, Chan Dehan felt he would lose his mind. Impossible. There's no way an FG could create this. Qiancheng's legs trembled in the dreamscape. Damn it, I admit defeat. Losing to a senior. I accept it, Qiancheng said stubbornly, even while surrendering. Even if he gave up, he refused to admit this was the work of a student. The livestream audience exploded in laughter. This kid came just for a free meal, huh? Was he planning to eat the entire floor in one bite? Or break it into pieces and eat it bit by bit? Unlike those with the omniscient livestream perspective, Qiancheng's words were actually believable to the students on site. After all, the intensity of this dreamscape was well beyond their understanding of an F-level dream artisan. Some had already begun to suspect. Maybe an examiner came down to bully the rookies. In any case, almost no one there believed the one in the arena was Sumu. Because in this death dreamscape, no one mentioned the word underworld, nor did the contestant give the name of their dreamscape. As for their doubts, I didn't respond. When the leaderboard is announced, all will be revealed. As for Qiancheng right now, I still think he deserves some punishment. Once Oxhead received my order, he immediately stepped forward. With a loud thud, Qiancheng's body seemed shackled by something. His face twisted in pain, and he was flung into the air. When he landed, his eyes rolled upward, and he fainted. This round's winner is guest number 18, who gains 90% of guest number 12's winning points. A total of 27 points. VIP no. 18's prize money increased, currently at 57 points. Will VIP no 18 continue? Wang Ri is watching my current performance. He approvingly asked, since he became the president of Dream Tower University, this is the strongest newcomer he's ever seen. If he can survive on the star battlefield, he'll definitely be a top-tier genius who can reach F level someday. But when he was just observing the underworld, he still found some shortcomings. He feels the combat power isn't very strong. Or rather, when facing the star beasts, it gets weakened a lot. Those monsters' defining feature is having both bodies and souls that are overwhelmingly powerful. Oxhead and Horseface. Pulling out those monsters' souls might be tricky. Of course, it could also be because Sumu is only F level. Oxhead and Horseface's abilities aren't at full strength yet. Plus, the setup for Yellow Springs and the Bridge of Helplessness feels like it's targeted at emotional beings. As for those star beasts, they aren't afraid of death at all. Now, Wang Ri can only hope this underworld can surprise him even more. After I retrieved the underworld into my dream core, I couldn't wait to open my personal panel. Right now, my force is already at 2,856. The force gained from this fight is enormous. Right away, I casually picked a student in the VIP seats to continue the challenge. The chosen person visibly leaned back, with a scared look on his face. Once on stage, he tried to win quickly, hoping for luck. But as soon as his dream construct was summoned, it got devoured by the black mist from my underworld. Seeing he couldn't win at all,
He simply jumped off the stage.
VIP no. 18 wins. Prize money increased to 84 points. Continue? Standing in the ring, I naturally chose to risk it for more rewards. For me right now, seizing the chance to earn more force is the top priority. Anyone in the audience who wants to try for these 84 points, come up on stage. VIP no. 18 can't refuse. After Wang Ri made the announcement, no one in the audience made a move. After witnessing what happened to Qiancheng, the other top 100 candidates chose to lay low. For them, points are what matter most. The deathly silence left the live stream viewers in awe. These gods are incredible. This is total domination. Right now, Chan Dehan looked completely defeated below the stage. Just now, he got a message from the old man, telling him to go up and fight. No escaping what was bound to happen. Then he got another update. Go all in on draining the opponent. Compete in mental power. Once the goal is met, leave the field. Suddenly, it all made sense to him.
He is a C-level dream maker.
That's 2 levels above Sumu. S level may be strong, but it also consumes a lot. If he plays it carefully, he might not lose. With that thought, he made up his mind. If I wear him down from the outside and avoid Hell's Gate and the Bridge of Helplessness, maybe I could still win. Thinking this, Chan Dehan couldn't sit still anymore.
He looked up and shouted, "Okay."
Audience no, 666. Chooses to challenge VIP no, 18. Wang Ri said as he glanced at Chan Dehan, seeming to notice something. He raised his eyebrows slightly and sent him on stage. Kid, this is your limit. Chan Dehan roared. His body was covered in a layer of black armor. Once the battle started, Oxhead and Horseface attacked together, swinging their chains at Chan Dehan. But it was as if he expected it.
He dodged smoothly several times.
Several times he pretended to be exhausted, saying he couldn't go on. But just as the chains were about to connect,
He dodged again successfully.
never facing me head on. After a fierce battle, I realized something was wrong and understood he wanted a war of attrition. He used his own martial arts skills, combined with his dream armor, to counter my death dream. Since only Oxhead and Horseface act as guides, the later checkpoints are basically useless. Maintaining those checkpoints is a waste of effort. If my mental power wasn't almost 35, I'd already be down by now. Viewers in my live stream also noticed. This seems to be a way to break the deadlock. Can't reach Hell's Gate. Can't get to the Bridge of Helplessness. Sumu's death dream doesn't seem to be at its best. Yeah, this challenger is probably a dream construct from the Dream King group. His level is definitely higher than F level, and his mental power is higher than Sumu's. If it goes on like this, it's clear Sumu won't last. Quite a few students in the VIP seats saw this, and their eyes lit up. Looks like this ringmaster isn't so unbeatable after all. That got them a little eager to try as well.
"Hey, kid."
You must be almost done, huh? Want to give up your dream construct? And fight me fair and square? Chan Dehan thought it over. If an ordinary student kept their dream realm up this long, they'd be exhausted by now. He can only hold on because of his level potential. As long as he drains Sumu enough so he can't control his dream construct. That's his chance to fight back. That's what you get for going all out last time, kid. This time the examiners finally get to save face. Hey, you almost got away with it. What a pity. But my mental power doesn't follow the usual rules. A buzzing sound rang out. I channeled my primal energy into my sea of consciousness. My mental power surged straight up to 40 points. All the previous depletion was instantly replenished. The entire underworld was shaken by the surge in my mental power. Chan Dehan witnessed this drastic change and immediately sensed something was wrong. This guy's mental power is just way too freakish. What was even harder for him to believe was the Gate of Ghosts, which had been some distance away, was actually moving toward him. He could faintly see the Bridge of Helplessness and the towering Fengdu city in the background. This is bad. I'm done for. Chan Dehan's sense of doom grew even stronger. Concede, quickly. Admit defeat. There was intel earlier that the old man had left the battlefield lost, clearly keeping a trick up his sleeve to deal with Sumu. This is my perfect excuse to bow out. This guy is an absolute monster. Chan Dehan was thinking this over when he immediately shouted, "I give up," and jumped off the stage without looking back. He just conceded, just like that. Judging from the way he acted, he obviously still had energy to spare. I started thinking maybe there was something off about this guy. Just as my mind was spinning with thoughts, I heard Wang Rei's voice in my ear. VIP no, 18. Total score, 101 points. Would you like to continue? The crowd below, hearing that score, couldn't help but gasp. That's basically a perfect score for the first round in one shot. If this keeps up for 3 days straight, they can basically announce the winner ahead of time. Meanwhile, my son Zihan is still out there washing dishes. Only 6 points for 2,000 dishes. But this guy just earned 100 in under 2 hours. It's just outrageous. But to be fair, there really is a prodigy in this year's exam. Noticing something was off, I finally chose to step down. When Wang Ri saw this, he shook his head on the spot, looking a bit disappointed. He'd just received news as well, that if Sumu decided to keep fighting, he would have been the next to step up. Because the rules don't say the host can't go up to the stage. If that happened, he wouldn't give Sumu any chance, and would just take away 90% of the points earned. That's what they call controlling the scores. He's a smart kid. Wang Ri sighed quietly as he announced that I'd be leaving and heading back to VIP room 18. He then turned and called the new contender onto the stage. I finally let out a long breath, and my bad feeling finally disappeared. Counting in Jang Junxi's 101 points now, I had a total of 186 points. If I complete tonight's escort mission, my score will skyrocket to 226. That will totally secure me the top spot. And the original force reward is also pretty good. As my mental power increased, the dream realm deep in my mind expanded even more. A new section of empty land appeared. It could now hold even more dream space. Meanwhile, in a dimly lit medical room near the arena, a doctor with a blank expression finished wrapping the last bandage for Qiancheng. Your treatment is complete. Please pay the 20-point medical fee immediately. The hotel does not do credit. Seriously? Isn't that a ripoff? Qiancheng's face froze. He'd won 80 points in the first round, spent 30 at the hotel, betted 30 in the arena, and now he had just 20 left. And now, even those last 20 points would be gone. If he failed tonight's escort mission, he wouldn't even have points for a hotel tomorrow. Not to mention he still wanted to compete in the arena, to attract attention from other school principals. That meant he needed 30 points as a minimum for the next arena round. So basically, he had to earn at least 60 points tonight. But obviously, the regular tasks outside could never provide rewards that high. Meaning, he could only get points through less savory activities. If he did that in the wrong way, he'd get a pretty bad reputation. Sigh, looks like I just have to go with this plan for now. Tonight I have to keep an eye on Sumu. That guy cost me a huge loss. If I don't get him back, it'll make me look like a coward. After finally paying the last of his points, the medical staff leaned over and said to him, "Losers have the right to leave early. In other words, you can go back to the hotel, since you paid the 20 points. Here's a tip. At this time of day, walking around the hotel with injuries will bring a surprise."
Hearing this, Yan Cheng
Immediately had a sparkle in his eyes. Go out injured and get a surprise? Could this be a hidden mission just for losers? He instantly got excited. Looks like a blessing in disguise. After thanking them repeatedly, he immediately left the hotel and started wandering outside, until passing by a dark alley by the hotel. "How did you get all those injuries, buddy?" A low man's voice came from behind him. "Fighting in the arena did this?" Qiancheng turned, excited. But he was greeted by the Dream City law enforcement team with a sinister smile. A bad feeling washed over him. "You've broken Dream City's rules. The law enforcement team will punish you." Finally, the first day of the tournament ended with Wang Rei's closing words. With the help of the black-cloaked attendant, I returned to my room. I didn't go out again until dinner time, and ran into Zhang Ling head-on. "That arrow-shooting guy. You were just insane on the stage today. Qiancheng was knocked down by you like a clown." Hearing that, I laughed and replied offhandedly, "What tournament? I never participated. I heard that's against the rules. If you did go, don't bring me into it." Zhang Ling was stunned. Apparently, he hadn't thought of that. Break what rules? Isn't it allowed in Ming City? Did anyone ever say it was allowed? I shot back with a smile. Zhang Ling frowned, then suddenly got it. Right. Bro, that whole tournament thing. Nope, definitely never went. Just happened to hear about it along the way. Joking around like this, we made our way to the restaurant. On the way, he hinted his family wanted to recruit me, but I politely turned him down. He finally said he was a bit disappointed, then went back to his arrow shooting ways, joking around with me. After finding seats and sitting down,
Tang Ning came over to me.
She sat down across from me. "So, do you have business? Or is this a recruitment pitch?" I asked. "I'm not recruiting. I'm hiring you just for tonight." Tongning said. Since it's just a job, I was a little curious and asked if she wanted to team up for tonight's point-grabbing mission. No, it's for tonight's transport task. Tongning shook her head and explained. I have a hunch to get those 30 points. There might be a tough fight ahead. The reason for hiring you is simple. Remember to look out for me during the battle. Cooperate with me, for our lives are at stake. If the enemy is too strong, you're more than welcome to just run for it. You'll still get your reward. Tongning made a gesture with her fingers as she spoke. How about 2 million? Just give me your account number, and when the exam is over, you'll get it. No wonder they call you a little rich lady. I thought about it for a long time, but I still chose to turn her down. 2 million is clearly an overpriced reward. There must be something off about getting this kind of money. I don't need any reward. For this delivery mission, I'm willing to team up with you. I only ask that in the next few rounds. We share information with each other. Rather than monetary rewards, what I really want is something related to the exam. I know exactly how generous the first place prize is. 2 million is nice and all, but compared to the upcoming rewards, it's got nothing on them. And in this dream city full of traps, information is the most valuable thing. Sharing info with a young lady like her, there's no way I'll lose out. As for telling if Tangming is lying, there's a sacred beast in the underworld that can separate truth from lies. It can hear both truth and falsehood. It's the Mount of Kitigarba, the Earth Treasury King. When I accepted the deal,
Tang Ming didn't hesitate at all.
She snapped her fingers after working it out. Some more Tang family members will join tonight to serve as my bodyguards. You don't mind, do you? That's fine, but we'll need to meet at the starting point for the transport. I have other things to do tonight. No problem. Looking forward to working together. After Tang Ning settled the partnership details, she left the table. By the time I finished dinner, it was already quiet hours in Meng City. Hopefully, it's the kind of darkness I'm hoping for. Ideally, let's get a ton of students out on the streets. As soon as I left the hotel, I saw a huge crowd of students.
Clearly.
A lot of people didn't want to miss out on going out at night. Or rather, they wanted to earn a ton of points at night. Most of the students were moving in small groups, gathering together as teams. The night looked beautiful. This is Dream City's unique nighttime scenery. Suddenly, mist began to spread all around. It turned out to be the legendary Dream Overlap. As a top student in Dream Basics, my mind quickly recalled all the related information. Dream Overlap usually happens inside dream battlefields, right at the border between reality and dreams. It's created by dream makers and cosmic behemoths fighting endlessly, producing this strange environment. There's danger for sure, but there are also great benefits. Online, people call a place like this a secret realm. So Meng City is actually a secret realm. This discovery made Sumu really excited. But it's not just about the treasures in a secret realm. Any student with a basic understanding knows that there are many relics and treasures left behind by dream makers in these places. Of course, that sparks the urge to explore. It means a lot of students will be heading out, which means I'll gain even more origin power. And conveniently, if Lanruo Monastery and the monsters appear here, they'll just be seen as part of the secret realm. No one will be suspicious at all. Sumu thought this as he went further ahead to check things out. Outside the hotel, he instantly noticed something strange about it. Any colorful light that tried to approach the hotel would fizzle out and disappear, meaning the hotel isn't within the secret realm. It's not at risk from monster ambush, but that's not the case for other residential buildings. They're all covered by the secret realm boundary. Maybe if you go to bed at night, you'll suddenly wake up covered in mushrooms. Or get eaten by the residue soul of a high-level cosmic beast. Either way, that's basically game over. While I was lost in thought, I heard a student's voice in surprise from behind Sumu. Dude, look over there. Is that the dream heart field on the left? Everyone froze when they heard it. Then they all looked left at once. No one knew when. A faint mist had already formed over there. A glowing cube was floating in the mist, drifting around as if it had no owner. Almost instantly, the students in the hotel lobby got pumped up. It's the Dream Heart Field. I've seen one before. If I could get one Dream Heart Field, my scores would skyrocket. This thing's a real treasure. If you sell it, you could live worry-free for at least 10 years. Where there's a dream heart field, means a dream maker has fallen there. Maybe we can score a lucky find. The students got more and more worked up as they talked. Very soon, a small group of 3 by the hotel entrance couldn't sit still anymore. The lead student shouted, and the 3 of them rushed out of the hotel, heading straight for the floating dream heart field on the left. They took off running. No way can we let them get it first. If we get the dream heart field, we split the reward evenly, once someone made the first move. A ton of teams already thinking about going out launched into action too. All the students crowded toward the main entrance. Waves of Dreammaker light instantly sounded off by the hotel door. At night, there are no rules. When it comes to grabbing treasures, even less so. Watching closely, the first group to rush outside was just about to reach the mist, when a student at the back summoned a light between his hands. A rope sprang out of nowhere and started moving, zipping forward as if it were alive. And it tripped the first 3 people, making them hit the ground face first. A big fight broke out immediately. All sorts of Dreammaker powers mixed with other items were unleashed right at the hotel entrance. Damn it, move! I'm a B-level mental power man. Wanna match me? Bring it on. So what if you're B-level? There are 3 of us here. What, are you that cocky? Watch out, or the 3 of us will send you straight out of the exam hall. Cut me some slack for the Chan family, will you? Just let us Chan family have the dream heart field. I'm Chan too, from the same family. Hang in there, bro. I'll help you get the dream heart field. Watching all this go down, Sumu raised an eyebrow and followed them out. He didn't join the fight, but just found an unobtrusive corner and quietly started weaving a dream. There's no way he's letting this chance go. He was definitely going to make the most of it. Inside the dream heart field, Lanruo Temple has already begun its attack. What's left is the beast that will increase the mist. As the dream building began, Sumu felt the pages unique to Waxia culture open slowly in his mind. Finally, they settled on a chapter from Journey to the West, on an image of a most unusual dragon-like creature. It looked a bit like a flood dragon, with a pair of antler-like, branching horns on its head, and its scales were a yellowish brown. There are tufts of red mane on its back, regarded as a holy dragon, the 8th son of the Golden River Dragon King in Journey to the West. The gas it emits has a confusing effect. It can charm people's minds, creating mirage-like scenes. Sumu thought about it for a moment. He felt that the mist wasn't completely reliable. After all, someone could also create a dream to disperse the fog. The creature's mind-affecting ability to charm is the safest bet. To be safe, Sumu injected 200 points of origin force when creating the Holy Dragon, to enhance its effect. As spiritual and origin force were consumed, a small dragon manifested in Sumu's hand. It wasn't even half a head in size. Its eyes were lively and bright. It didn't seem like an ordinary dream creation at all. The viewers in Sumu's livestream watched the dragon. Their eyes lit up. What is this thing? Can any expert explain this? A dream creation. Is it a pet Sumu made up himself? Looks like it can fly. Seems like it's meant to take the dream field. Am I the only one who thinks its eyes look way too real? I feel like this thing is like an S-level dream creation. That's the essence of dream making. The essence of an S-level dream creation. Listening to the last viewer in the live stream, most people scoffed. Something made on a whim like this could have the essence of an S-tier creation. That's a bit of an exaggeration. How strong can this weird creature really be? Can this thing even fly? It doesn't even have wings. And it looks pretty silly. Yeah, it must have just been randomly made. It just looks a bit intimidating on the outside. Figures, this Sumu only has that one trick. Death Dream. There are too many people here now. He's afraid to attract too much attention, so he doesn't dare to use it. If he used anything else, he'd get exposed. The viewers were chatting. Then they saw Sumu fully form the creation in his hands. Holy Dragon. Go cover this whole field in mist. Sumu stroked the Holy Dragon and tossed it out. Huh? The Holy Dragon let out a soft cry. Its mouth opened wide. Blobs of invisible gas flowed into the air, floating toward the frenzy of dreammakers, drifting over slowly. Mist is a beast that can breathe out fog. Listening to Sumu's explanation, many viewers in Sumu's livestream widened their eyes. waiting for this so-called holy dragon to perform. But after watching closely for a few minutes, and seeing the dragon drifting into the crowd, there was still no fog around. Is this thing just for laughs? I thought it would spit out something like a smoke bomb effect. But looking at it now, it doesn't seem useful at all. Could this be a failed dream creation? This is a bit awkward. The front runner actually messed up. Wait, no.
Hey guys.
Fog's rising, check the other live streams. There's fog, but only in the other students' perspectives. When they saw the messages flooding the live stream, many viewers confusedly tried searching around. The students also fighting for the dream field. As soon as they switched to other students' live streams, the viewers immediately realized something. From his perspective, a white mist was slowly spreading around the streets, and it was spreading at a speed visible to the naked eye. What's going on? Countless viewers frantically switched perspectives. They were shocked to find there was no mist at all in Sumu's view, but there was plenty in the other live streams. So basically, this dream creature actually works, and it's quite special. What the heck? What's going on? Can any expert explain this? This is my first time seeing mist used like this. This mist only works on the enemies. Sumu can't see it at all, or he can just ignore it completely. I've seen creatures that can create mist before, but never used like this. Usually, the one making the mist is also inside it. Whoa, that's wild. What's going on? Are we sure this is still the same level F Dreammaker? How does a level 1 Dreammaker not get this? While the viewers argued heatedly, inside a room in the Dreamweb, Proctor Chun Daehan looked at the white mist and was confused too. He couldn't help but turn his head and look at Chun Fengqi, who was sipping liquor nearby. Ever since Sumu became a variable in the Dreamweb, Chief Examiner Chun Fengqi didn't dare relax outside anymore. He returned to the Dreamweb too, constantly monitoring all events in the National Dream Exam and staying in contact with the other chief examiners. Old man, what's going on? Some kind of special mist? Chun Daehan asked. That's why you need to read more books. You didn't even notice such a simple trick. Chun Fengqi pointed out impatiently. He said it was mist. But does it have to be mist? You've been my student for so long, and you still get fooled by appearances. Mist isn't always just mist. Don't be misled by what's on the surface. Chun Daehan froze as he listened to the old man's words. He looked at the white mist in the live stream. After thinking for a long time, he suddenly understood. I get it now. This isn't mist at all. That kid actually pulled off a move like this. The invisible gas this dragon breathes out is something that can bewilder the mind, and it can even be directed. It controls what kind of illusions appear in the target's mind. This monster made everyone believe there was thick fog, so thick fog appeared in everyone's eyes. If you create dream creatures to dispel the mist, it won't work at all, because this influences people's minds. Chun Daehan spoke, his pupils suddenly shrinking. He stared at the little dragon spewing out the gas. He was completely stunned. For a beast that can create dreams like this, he's only seen something like it in certain special level 1 dreams and above. That's the only time he's seen it. Does this mean the dream creation power of this beast is at least level 1? The kind I couldn't create myself? After making an underworld, this guy casually made at least a level 1 beast. Isn't that cheating at creation? Chun Daehan shouted. Cheating, huh? If I made you start over and take the test again, you still couldn't achieve. This kid's grades now. A rare genius, truly. It's just a pity he's not my apprentice. Chun Fengqi drank his liquor, feeling somewhat regretful. Near the Dream King Hotel, along with the actions of the Holy Dragon, Sumu's mental energy panel began to drop rapidly at a rate of 1 point every half minute. At this rate, if he doesn't use force to replenish his mental energy, he estimates that within half an hour, he'll be completely drained. And this is just the beginning. He hasn't even started creating Blue-Ri Temple and the other unique beasts yet. Once these structures appear, his 40 points of mental energy won't be nearly enough. Fortunately, after releasing the Holy Dragon, his force points started to rise faster. After using 200 points, it gradually returned to 2,600. 2,600 points of force is what powers his big plan. Let's go all out this round. If the force I spend doesn't make up for the cost, then forget it, I'm going all in anyway. Sumu thought, diving his focus into his dream creation core. He looked at the ancient temple marked Lanruo Temple, along with the wandering female shadow inside. Let's use this scene to test it out first. As the thought flashed through his mind, Sumu channeled 300 points of force into Lanran Temple. He looked around, spreading his fingers slightly, letting it materialize in reality. Meanwhile, the anxious students finally noticed something was off. A dense white fog had unknowingly spread all around them. It blocked the entrance to the hotel, and also covered the dream creation star in front of them. Even the streetlights on the corner seemed to darken at this moment. The thick white mist seemed ready to swallow the whole world. With just the faintest light, they couldn't see anything around themselves at all. Stop, everyone, no more fighting. Calm down, something feels off around here. Then, students who hadn't joined the battle yet quickly shouted for a stop. The fighting in the arena gradually ceased. The students glanced around, an uneasy feeling creeping into their hearts. What's going on? Why did it suddenly get so foggy? Damn it, who did this? Is this the mist world? Trying to take advantage of the chaos, huh? A student in a blue school uniform spoke, rubbing his hands together to create a strange creature like a blower. Then holding it in his hand, pointed it at his side. The strange mist creature shouted, emitting a fierce gust of wind from its mouth, as if trying to blow away the fog in front of them. The wind in the air did shift, but the drifting mist wasn't affected at all, as if it didn't even exist. What's going on? My wind demon doesn't work? The student rubbing the wind demon looked grim. Feels like something's seriously wrong. Little Jang, little Liu, let's fall back to the hotel first. Some members who came later. The captain made a snap decision, pulling his two teammates and turning to run back. They rushed into the fog. This move immediately got everyone else following. Yeah, let's retreat first. Back to the hotel. It's safe inside. This weather is strange. Better stay cautious. Damn, once the mist clears, I'll go find that dream core again. A few small group members who had left the hotel spoke up. Kiki stopped what she was doing, also deciding to quickly head for the hotel. But the farther they went, the more they felt something wasn't right. The mist was dense and layered, drifting all around them, the road ahead seeming endless. Everyone, I remember we weren't that far from the hotel, right? We should have reached the steps by now. A student who noticed something was wrong spoke up hesitantly. Also, don't you guys think it's too quiet up there? Where did those who left earlier go? Hearing that, the others began to slow down. Yeah, there were still a lot of people inside the hotel. It doesn't make sense for there to be no sound at all now. Hey, anyone there? Can anyone hear me? Say something. A student cupped his hands around his mouth, shouting forward. In the silence of the night, the white mist swept through, and his voice echoed again and again, but not a single reply was heard. Gradually, all the students' faces changed. Did we go the wrong way? Should we just head back? One student suggested. Yeah, the spot we were fighting at couldn't have been far from the hotel. If we keep going forward, we might get farther away. Maybe we should try going back. Yeah, let's go back. The students agreed, turned around, and gradually vanished into the fog. Ajo, I've got a bad feeling about this place. There's something really ominous about this white mist. Thanks. Fen. Is there anything good to eat? Idiot, all you think about is eating. Stay alert, look around. In the team of students within the fog, there was one tall and one thin. Two brothers in white hoodies, scanning the surroundings warily. The shorter one was Afen, the older brother looking around everywhere, moving like a monkey, quick and lively. The taller one was Ajo, with a large, sturdy frame. His 6-foot-tall frame looked quite intimidating, but his eyes seemed a bit vacant. The two brothers both awakened sea-level mental potential during the exams, and they were lucky enough to end up together.
Tonight,
The older brother, who thought he knew the world, planned to take his younger brother along for some easy gains. But then an unexpected thick fog trapped them with the main group. What a hassle. Afen tugged on his somewhat slow-witted little brother, following the large group forward. He kept glancing around, hoping to spot the lights from the hotel, or perhaps some shining treasures. Suddenly his gaze stopped. On the west side of the group, he noticed a few sparkling lights. They looked like treasures, waiting for them to collect. These were hidden treasures in the secret realm. An exam reward, Afin muttered, his eyes lighting up. He looked around at the students ahead, who didn't seem to notice the bright light. Today's my lucky day, he thought to himself, then slowed his pace with a zo. Until they fell to the back of the group. He watched as the students ahead were about to disappear into the fog. Afin waited for the right moment, pulling Azo out of the line. Afin and the others are going to disappear. Tall Azo still hadn't figured out what was happening, thinking it would be bad if they brought others along. Azo glanced to his left, while Afin excitedly spoke. Tall Azo on the left scratched his head, turned to look, and only saw thick, dense fog. But after another blink, glowing spots like fireflies appeared ahead. Those are treasures. Why are you just standing there? Hurry up. Otherwise, someone might grab them first, Afin said, ignoring Azo, and rushed straight toward the light. Afin, wait for me. Aren't you scared there are monsters over there? I heard that monsters are everywhere in this thick fog. Monsters, stop watching so many cartoons. Where would there be monsters? They're dreamweavers. Keep running, Afin said, turning his head. When suddenly a bright light appeared ahead. He turned to look, and the thick, milky fog behind him stopped spreading. Beneath his feet, the ground turned into greenish stone slabs. Ahead was an ancient temple, and on a closer look, the plaque read, Langa Temple. Tall red walls surrounded it. At the main plaque, there were several ancient statues holding what looked like lanterns. They wore strange clothes, and the radiant object from before, shining on the bald one, was the flickering flame inside the lantern. Where is this? Afin looked around, but saw only swirling, white mist. Nothing else was visible. Those familiar skyscrapers and cityscapes were nowhere to be seen. But there was still something. Afin looked up at the temple, and an ancient, weathered tree trunk stood inside. There were hardly any leaves, but countless branches, forming a web that seemed to block out the sky. Staring at the tree, he felt an ominous chill. Hey, Afin, did we just barge into someone else's dream? I've dreamed of a place like this before. There might be female ghosts inside. Idiot, we're already in an S-level dream. How could there be another dream nested in here? Afin said, rubbing his chin as he thought deeply for a moment. Suddenly he had an idea. Could this be part of a secret challenge? A temple suddenly appearing in the middle of the night. Like this, there must be bonus points to find inside. Azo, come on. Let's go check it out. Go in. Idiot, hurry up. Don't you trust your big brother? With that, Afin dragged Azo straight toward the entrance. Right at that moment, a pure, clear voice came from inside the temple gates. Big sisters, I think Grandma is back. Come over and greet her. The girl's voice was sweet and light, as melodious as a lark. Before Lasu could react, the temple door had already opened a crack. Half a figure peeked out from inside. A young girl dressed in white. Her innocent face still somehow carried a hint of seductive charm. Her black hair cascaded down, and she wore a long, elaborate, old-fashioned skirt. Her white sleeves hung from her shoulders, showing a bit of her fair, delicate skin below her neck, enticing endless imagination. A ghost girl, bro. Azo blurted out. What ghost girl? You dummy. How is that a ghost girl? Afin looked at the somewhat startled girl in the temple, and felt his heart was about to burst out of his chest. In all these years, growing up in a small town, he had never seen such a pretty girl before. Excuse me, is this a place where we can take a quest and earn points? Afin stammered as he spoke. The quest girl anxiously waved her hand, gesturing for them to leave quickly. Only my sister is here. There are no quests. Sister, before Afin could react, a charming voice rang out from inside. More students have come. Sisters, let's come out and test them. As the words fell, the temple's massive doors slowly opened. A crowd of girls in colorful red and green dresses, with beaming smiles, walked out, pushing the girl aside, and enthusiastically grabbed Afin and Azo, eagerly trying to drag them inside. What is this? At that moment, the audience watching Azo was completely confused by Afin's move. Ever since Sumu had lured away so many students with the fog, everyone had been curious. about what Sumu was really up to. What the hell is going on now? Did Sumu really just create a spring fantasy? Is the exam this bold? You have to upload this dream to the dream web. I'll pay to experience it. No way. Sumu went to all this trouble just to set this up? Is this the main course? Meanwhile, in the other students' minds, damn, could it be the legendary Dreamweaver? Is about to meet their downfall behind bars? As the audience sat in shock, the livestream camera, as if to clarify, switched to a wide angle for the first time, showing a fixed, unmoving shot. The seductive girls dragged the two brothers into the temple, and the stone path began twisting and warping. Face after greenish face, seemingly drained dry, gradually appeared before the viewers. Wait, this isn't a path at all. It's clearly a graveyard, a mountain of shriveled corpses, with crows circling overhead, filling the air with creepy, unsettling cries. A moment ago, the two brothers had actually walked into the temple over all those corpses. The reason we couldn't see it before was because of the illusion. Spring dream? This has got to be an absolutely terrifying act. Looking at those eerily hollow corpses on the ground, the audience collectively gets chills. What the hell is Sumu actually doing? He set up something like this? Is he seriously trying to tell ghost stories in the middle of the night? Wait, are those students going to experience them one by one? Hold on, did you guys notice something? That big tail just moved a couple times. Could that thing actually be alive? What exactly is Sumu planning? Trying to steal something? Does he want to take the points from every student who enters the temple? When the last member of the audience spoke up, a bunch of people gasped all at once. No way, if Sumu really pulls this off, just how many points would he get? Snatching over a dozen students' points in one night. Wouldn't this guy just break the game? I feel like he's really good at targeting people. Look at these dreams. How many of these young ones can actually take it? So shameless. He really did something like this just for points. I just went from a fan to a hater. This kid's about to eat it. Inside the DreamNet proctoring room, still watching the panel, Chan Dehan, who's been keeping an eye on Sumu's actions, saw this and slapped his leg, laughing. Old man, this little freak still isn't quite there yet. Trying to snatch points late at night. Is he not afraid of dying? Even if he grabs everyone's points all at once, it still won't matter. As a proctor, Chan Dehan naturally knows some of the hidden rules. At this time of night, it's not so easy to steal points. Anything you grab has to be given back by morning. And not only that, there's a full audit afterwards. This monster is finally about to be kicked out of the exam. While Chan Dehan is excited, he suddenly notices old man Chun Fengqi looking at the screen. Brows furrowed, deep in thought. What's up, old man? Do you also not agree with the kid's methods? Chan Dehan asked with a smile. No, not quite. Chun Fengqi stroked his bit of white beard and said uncertainly, maybe the kid doesn't really want the points. Maybe he's doing this for practice. Practice? Practice what? Chan Dehan was momentarily confused. He couldn't quite understand for a second. Just what is Chun Fengqi actually saying? Dehan, you've read Sumu's profile too, right? He's from a poor family and never even left the city limits. The only thing he's ever been exposed to is theory about dreamweavers from textbooks. He doesn't have the same advantages as the other students. He couldn't even try to create dreams before he awakened using special means like them. Upon hearing this, Chan Dehan hesitated, then said, So what are you saying? Exactly. The kid only just awakened as a dreamweaver. He never had any hands-on experience before. That's why he's choosing to act at night, using these students as practice. Chun Fengqi said quietly, if he really wanted to steal points, wouldn't using his underworld dreamscape be faster and more efficient? He's testing himself here. Testing himself? The old man's words startled Chan Dehan. He's using the other students as a whetstone to experiment with his own dreamscape and sharpen his own abilities. Sumu's from the lower city, with limited resources, totally unable to compare to students from the wealthier regions. If he wants to stand out in the Dreamweaver Unified exam, natural talent alone isn't enough. He needs a lot of real practice. Other students had access to dream tools even before waking up, so they could start creating dreams early on, getting that extra practice ahead of time. But Sumu never had those conditions. So he's using the other students during the exam as his test subjects, getting practical experience to hone his abilities. He sees all the students as his grindstone, pushing himself to grow under pressure. This guy is absolutely insane. Chun Daehan murmured, his face filled with shock. He's testing the limits of his own mental power, without receiving any recovery, facing 3 opponents alone, or even 10. A true madman. Standing on the roof of Lanruo Temple, Sumu had no idea what kind of backstory the outsiders were imagining for him. At this moment, he was turning his head toward the west side of the temple, toward the students he had trapped. A small accident had occurred here. The students he trapped initially were all in a state of visual interference. Under his arrangement, they were constantly walking in circles around Lanruo Temple. He had planned to harvest them like leeks, batch by batch. But now the situation had changed slightly. As the trapped main group was running, they ran head-on into a man who had just come out of a residential house. He was over 2 meters tall, with a physique like a small mountain. The muscles on his face were interlaced, revealing a ferocious look. This person was a bit more clever. After encountering the Holy Dragon's Mist, and after some attempts, he used some means of evolution to find a solution. This is a bit troublesome. Right now, the female ghosts have just led the brothers, Afen and Ajo, into the temple. Outside, the white mist in the students' eyes began to gradually dissipate. This was even with the Holy Dragon being buffeted by the Force. Of course, if Sumu increased the Force input, the white mist would surely overcome the power of evolution. But doing so would be a bit of a waste.
He originally wanted to harvest the leeks batch by batch.
But since a powerhouse showed up, he could only try to catch them all in one go. Sumu thought to himself, as he urged the candlelight at the entrance of Lanruo Temple to grow brighter, letting the light pierce through layers of white mist and shine directly onto the students' faces. Seeing that their gazes were all attracted by the candlelight, Sumu immediately sank his consciousness into his heart. The pages belonging uniquely to eternal Waxia turned slowly, and a tall young man with a serious expression, revealing a Buddhist aura between his brows, slowly emerged, clad in a red monk's robe, wearing a string of orange-yellow Buddhist beads on his hand. With palms pressed together, he called himself the abbot of Jinshen Temple. Named Fahai. Since I've already created Lanruo Temple, it's quite reasonable for the abbot of Jinshen Temple to appear here, right? Sumu controlled the holy dragon in the sky, which was still breathing out invisible matter, increased his mental output slightly, and slowed down the dissipation of the mist. At the same time, with a flick of his finger, Fahai in his mind seemed to gain a soul, turning into a red shadow and descending into reality. The show is about to begin. When Fahai manifested, it was a scene of joy inside Lanruo Temple. The 2 brothers, Afen and Ajo, were surrounded by many beautiful girls in the center of the temple. They were somewhat at a loss. Classmate, this is our test for you. An ancient-looking beauty in purple robes leaned against Afen's shoulder, exhaling a sweet fragrance from her mouth, leaving the bewildered Afen spellbound. The tall younger brother, Ajo, standing nearby, was not at all constrained by such a scene. The silly kid just scratched his head and asked, "Big sister, how do we pass this test?" "It's simple," the purple-robed beauty said with a smile. "Just stand still in the middle of us and hold on for 10 minutes. If you hold on, there will be points." As the beauty spoke, she patted Afen's face with her slender hand. "Ajo, watch your image. We're being live-streamed right now. Careful not to embarrass ourselves in front of everyone." Afen attempted to divert his attention, coughing as he lectured his brother. "Just this little trick. I don't even take it to heart." As he spoke, he glanced at the girl in white standing outside the group of beauties. The other party's expression was somewhat panicked. Seeing Afen look over, her small hand waved slightly, making a gesture to run away quickly. "What does this mean? Telling them to leave here quickly?" Afen was stunned. Before he could think more, that look was noticed by the purple-robed beauty nearby. "Oh, so you like someone like Ni Xiaoqian? Xiaoqian, come and test this classmate," the beauty in red said, waving her hand toward Ni Xiaoqian. "Ah, it's not me." "No." Hearing this, Afen's face immediately turned bright red, and he became somewhat incoherent. Right at that moment, he saw Ni Xiaoqian, and a look of pity appeared in her eyes. Before he could react, he suddenly saw the girls surrounding him, their smiles growing deeper, as they all together toward him, assumed a posture of opening their mouths to suck. For some reason, Afen suddenly felt extremely mentally exhausted, and his vision became extremely blurred. The purple-robed beauty chuckled and gave him a push. Afen felt as if he had over-exercised. His legs twitched and lost all strength. His whole body slammed heavily to the ground like a puddle of mud.
His unprotected face
Made intimate contact with the ground, making a wet thudding sound. Before he could cry out in pain, the sound of someone collapsing came from beside him. He barely managed to turn his head to look. His foolish brother had followed in his footsteps. Afen, I suddenly feel so sleepy. I want to sleep. The brother slumped on the ground, said dazed. What's going on? Afen realized something was wrong. He turned his head in terror to look around, and found that all the girls' faces were extremely flushed. The leading purple-robed beauty was standing right beside him, reaching out her hand to lick her. Claws. Claws. Afen watched, his pupils shrinking slightly, without him noticing. On the other party's palm, fine red-brown fur had already grown. That animal-like fur was spreading along the skin to her whole body. That beautiful face became even more enchanting, and from that enchantment grew a fox-like nose, and whiskers that clearly didn't belong to a human. Seeing Afen look over, a smile appeared on the fox face. Be good and lie still. Wait for Grandma to come back and suck you into jerky to pave the road. Help! Loud cries for help came from inside the temple, attracting the students walking on the bluestone road. What's the situation? Did something happen inside? Could there be an ambush in there? Brother Shi, what should we do next? The students spoke, all stopping in their tracks, turning to look at the mountain-like youth at the side of the team. He was the student who had seen through the effect of the Holy Dragon's mist. Jushi, from a top high school in the Three Gorges district, a student in the top 100 of the Waxia point rankings, because of his unique physique. Among the students,
candidates from the Three Gorges district quickly recognized him.
Seeing that an expert had joined the team, these lost students took Jushi as the core of their group, until he could lead them completely out of the mist. Listening to everyone's inquiries, Jushi closed his eyes and listened carefully for a moment before saying, "It sounds like two candidates are trapped inside. This is very likely a trap." The mention of a trap makes the candidates panic. They scan their surroundings anxiously. They can't help but become more alert. Why did the mist suddenly start clearing more slowly? Didn't we all just use evolution? Could it be this mist purposely guided us here? The purpose is to lure us inside. But this is a secret realm. According to what the teacher said, opportunity and danger coexist here. If we can solve the problems here, we might reap unimaginable benefits. The last student's words leave everyone uncertain for a moment. They look at the ancient, imposing temple. No matter how you look at it, it doesn't seem like the bottom of a trap. Just as everyone is about to ask Ju for his opinion, a series of footsteps quietly emerge from the mist behind them. Who's there? Ju, with sharp hearing, is the first to react. He turns his head past the crowd. Deep in the mist, a young man wrapped in red cloth strolls towards them. He looks to be about 25 or 26 years old, wearing a red robe of unknown origin, with simple linen shoes. A string of orangey-yellow beads hangs from his hand. Seeing the group casting hostile looks his way, the young man stops walking.
He raises one hand in greeting,
Bows slightly and says, Amitabha, I am the monk Fahai. Pleased to meet you. Dear benefactors, this place is filled with strong demon energy. Please leave at once. It is not safe to stay long. Benefactor, demon energy? Does demon energy refer to this white mist? This Fahai guy dresses strangely. Is he a special dream creation of Meng City? And he's telling us to leave. He seems to be stopping us from going in. Maybe he's actually here to help us. Senior, what should we do now? Ju carefully examines the monk in front of him. After pondering for a moment, he asks, Demon energy? Is it really dangerous inside? It seems some of our companions are trapped inside. Someone has already gone in. When Fahai hears this, his brow furrows. That's not good. Inside that temple is a 1,000-year-old demon, lurking inside. Anyone who enters may end up like this road. drained to a husk. Dry. The group is taken aback. Hearing this, they're stunned. They lower their heads to look at the blue stone tiles beneath their feet. It still doesn't seem abnormal. Dear benefactors, please leave, says Fahai. He takes a step toward the front of the group. He puts his palms together. A strange chant escapes his lips. Amitabha. As the chant echoes, everyone is suddenly dazzled. The magnificent, towering red brick temple and the blue stone ancient path under their feet start to change. In a flash, the cawing of crows echoes in the sky. The path beneath their feet now feels eerily bony. Looking down, they see layer upon layer of shriveled, long-dried human skin, stacked one over another. On either side of the road, nameless skeletons pile up into hills. Oh my God. Many students standing on the faces feel their legs go numb. A chill runs from their feet straight to their brains. Some try to flee this place of trouble within a few steps. But Fahai's incantation seems to have disturbed the entire graveyard. Suddenly, sharp cracks and snaps of bones erupt, echoing from discarded corpses. Those lifeless bodies stand up under some mysterious power. Holy crap. Is this a death-related nightmare created by someone? What do you mean, death-related nightmare? This is clearly a mass grave. I've actually seen this in a dream before. This is so disgusting. The face I just stepped on, the mouth is moving. I've got goosebumps. Wait, there. They seem to be coming toward us. Get ready to fight. Fight? Are you kidding? Run! As the students are about to panic, Ju, standing next to Fahai, shouts loudly. Everyone, don't panic. All of you get behind me. Along with these words, Ju shouts in a low voice, his uniform shredding layer by layer, revealing a body of solid muscle. At the same time, a crimson light appears and circles around Ju. On his skin, a suit of crimson armor gradually takes shape. His hands are covered by a pair of dark golden gloves. Layer by layer, he looks like a warrior ready to enter battle. Just as Ju is about to kick away, the face slowly crawling up beneath him, Fahai at his side intervenes. Benefactor, please step back. Leave everything here to this humble monk. They were merely killed by demons. Ordinary souls here cannot find peace. Buddha is compassionate. Allow me to deliver them. With these words, Fahai steps forward. He puts his palms together. He begins reciting a difficult-to-understand scripture. Thus have I heard at one time. The Buddha was in Triastrams of heaven. As Fahai chants, the quivering faces freeze in place, swaying unsteadily. The dried corpses trying to rise from the pile also stop moving. They stand still, motionless. Wow, that was powerful. What kind of control is this? Seeing all the anomalies gradually come under control, the bolder students sneak a peek. This Fahai guy is actually pretty skilled. Amitabha, what does it mean? Is it some kind of spell? Sounds like a control type incantation. I've never seen this before. Could he be a mage? This guy seems pretty righteous. Doesn't look like someone who's here to harm us. Could this actually be a trial? Some clever students have a sudden realization. Suddenly they think of this possibility. Should we follow Fahai into the temple to save the two hostages? That way we might earn some points. Once this idea comes up, it quickly gets a lot of support. Immediately, everyone is eager to teach these now immobile creatures a lesson. But at this moment, Fahai's chant comes to its end. He gives a sigh, puts his palms together, and bows gently. In an instant, on the road ahead, all the corpses vanish without a trace, revealing a chaotic stony path underneath. Taking in the scene, the students' eyes widen. They all gasp in shock. You've got to be kidding me. That wasn't a control spell. Awesome. He just recited a chant and took care of all the bodies. This is what you call compassion? Even the ashes have been scattered. Wow, this guy is seriously strong. He really seems like an important character in Meng City. Wait, could it be? This really is a major quest trigger scene. Master, is there anything you need us to do? We can all do it. After Fahai finished performing the rites for all the corpses, he gave a slight nod. I see that you all possess some skills. If none of you fear demons, you may come with this humble monk to subdue demons and evil spirits. Subduing demons and evil spirits. The concepts of demons and evil spirits were something Zhu Shi and the others had at least heard of. Of course, only in online fantasy novels. In reality, what they were about to face was always only the art of the starry sky. It was neither demon nor devil. Human beings have unfathomable depths. At this moment, the examinees were more convinced that this was a trial. Once they complete the trial, they would receive some kind of reward. Senior brother, what do you think? Should we follow or not? For now, let's follow. This person doesn't seem to have any ill intent. Jushi thought for a moment and spoke. With the captain's permission, the few examinees who had wanted to back out no longer had any such thoughts. Everyone followed in Fahai's footsteps together, walking down the stone path toward Lanruo Temple. Along the way, Jushijin glanced at Fahai, who was a bit shorter than himself. Thinking, he asked, Master, what were you chanting just now? Amitabha, my Buddha is merciful. What does it actually mean? When Fahai heard this, his brows twitched slightly. Benefactor, are you asking what Buddha actually is? My Buddha comes from the Western Pure Land and resides on Mount Spirit. There is a Buddha called Tathagata. He has gone through countless tribulations, transcended the mortal realm, and obtained the supreme scriptures. He has 10 chief disciples under him, one called Golden Cicada Shariputra. My Buddha is filled with compassion and takes the salvation of all beings as his duty. We Buddhist cultivators are the same. On that short road to Lanruo Temple, Fahai used simple, clear language to present to Jushi a completely new and brand new system and worldview. The Western Pure Land, Mount Spirit, Tathagata Buddha. The more Jushi listened, the more shocked he became. The students nearby might just be hearing a story, but he noticed the deeper meaning within. It seemed to be a fully formed system of orthodoxy, or perhaps a line of inheritance. For a dream builder, this was the foundation of an S-level potential dream. If one could dig deeper into the stories behind it, they would obtain a logical and flawless, complete knowledge system. Such a gain would be no less than acquiring the legacy of an S-level dream builder. All the teachers could already imagine if such a so-called Buddhist Tao orthodoxy could be created. Just how incredible it would be. It wasn't just the gods, but many powerful experts watching from around the city also associated it with the city lord's mansion in Linhai City. With a fiery temper, Liu Yun listened to Fahai's words and stood up in excitement. From just a few words, he could clearly see an entire world, a complete system, a key to creating S-level dreams. As long as Fahai kept explaining, this would be absolutely priceless. First the underworld, and now this so-called Buddhist and Taoist sumu. Just how many secrets are still hidden here? Could it be that this kid really found somewhere in Linhai City some S-rank Dreamweaver's legacy? Inside Dreamweb, Chan Fenghui, sipping wine, paused as he heard about the Buddhist Taoist system and put down his glass. His expression grew grave. He kept muttering the name Tathagata under his breath, feeling as if it contained countless mysteries. This little guy, while honing his own dream-making skills, is also experimenting with brand new dreams. Is he actually planning to create another S-rank dream during the exam? She had clearly realized this as well, just as he, clearly excited, was about to ask something. Fahai's footsteps suddenly stopped. Lanyan Temple. Arriving at the main gate of the now revealed temple, the gate was in ruins. From inside, faint cries for help could still be heard. Amitabha. Friends, when I handle the demon next, you all focus on the rescue. Fahai finished speaking and pointed at the temple gate. Suddenly, with a loud boom, the front gate of Ranat Temple shattered into pieces. Dust and debris flew everywhere. Inside, a dozen foxes dressed in human clothes, standing upright, came into view of the examinees. In the middle of the group of foxes, looking extremely drained, almost too weak to even cry for help, was Afin. So it's true, there are students trapped in there. What is this thing? Seriously, this is crazy. Do these monsters want us to step in now? The students, watching the scene, were eager to act. They all assumed this was just another Dreamweb quest scenario. The rewards given out at the end of a mission are always determined by your contribution. So now is their chance to shine. Master Fahai, please wait a moment on the side. Leave it to us. She let out a low growl. The muscles on his face tensed up, and his body lunged at the group of foxes like a tiger. Both palms sliced through the air with powerful gusts, and it looked like he'd crush a fox with one strike. But to everyone's surprise, as Jushi charged, the foxes didn't flinch at all. Instead, they smiled slyly, and the group began making sucking sounds in unison. In an instant, Jushi, airborne and lunging, suddenly felt the world spinning around him. His mental energy, once full, felt like it had been consumed in some kind of greater dream, and vanished in an instant. With the fierce look on Jushi's face faded, and before he could react, he'd lost all strength to counter, as he barreled into the foxes with a grin on his face like a tiger descending the mountain. His defenses vanished instantly, and he collapsed at their feet like a sick cat, joining Afin and Ajo on the ground. Bro, you here to be their next meal? Good timing, they weren't full yet. Ajo stared at the pig feed beside him in a daze.
Careful.
These monsters seem to suck our mental energy. Afin spoke up weakly, warning after the fact. They drain your spiritual energy?
Hearing this,
All the Dreamweavers' faces changed dramatically. Those who'd been so eager to fight immediately held back, and cleared a path for Fahai. Master, better let you handle this. Master, I think your earlier suggestion was spot on. We'll handle the rescue. Leave these monsters to you. Sometimes knowing your limits is a skill too. Right, guys? For rookie Dreamweavers, all their attack skills depend solely on their mental strength. And these foxes are obviously their natural counter. Didn't you see the top Dreamweavers from all of Waxia go down instantly as soon as they joined the fight? If we go in now, even one fox could drain us dry. Hey. There's another bald monk here. Looks like your spiritual power is even stronger than theirs. What a feast you'll be. The foxes all fixed their eyes on Fahai, drooling with greed. Ladies together. Let's keep them all here. Once we've drained their spiritual energy, we'll give them to the matriarch, so she can use them for the tongue tree's fertilizer. The foxes grinned viciously and tore off their restrictive clothing, then flashed around the crowd at lightning speed, repeating the same trick as before. In an instant, everyone felt their minds begin to go blank. Just as everyone was about to collapse, Fahai let out a sigh and pressed his palms together. Amitabha. His voice seemed to ripple with power and radiate outward, suddenly dispelling the sense of doom everyone felt. Tricks of the trade. You dare show off before me the guardian of compassion? Heavenly Dragon Grand Law Spell. Fahai's expression grew solemn as he pressed his hands together in a ring, his kasaya flying upward without a breeze, revealing a tattoo on his skin. An 8-armed golden dragon carved upon him. With each gesture he made, Fahai was lifted by the golden dragon, its golden eyes gleaming. The dragon soared out of his body and unleashed a thunderous roar, blasting directly at the fox monsters ahead. The energy it harbored rippled through the air in growing waves. The speed exceeded everyone's imagination. Before the fox monsters could even react, the golden light smashed mercilessly into them. A muffled bang. The immense power sent the fox demons flying. They fell limply to the ground, powerless to resist, their bodies shrinking by the second, until they became just a dozen seemingly unconscious foxes. Those foxes that could have easily beaten any of us one-on-one, under the hands of the master. Didn't last a single round. Got wiped out in an instant. Everyone gasped in shock, immediately realizing this supposed Buddhist Taoist cultivator was not to be underestimated. He had a different vibe entirely, feeling like the master doesn't even operate on the same level as us. The master really is a dreamweb creation. Looks insanely strong. At least B-rank level, right? Can't say for sure. His fighting style is nothing like ours. Kind of stylish, honestly. Jushi, who'd gone from tiger to sick cat, watched in awe, his eyes shining even brighter. This is exactly the kind of fighting he always dreamed of. Before even becoming a Dreamweaver, he'd already chosen his development path, making weapons and armor, taking on cosmic beasts with bare hands. They call this the inspiration style. Legend has it, in ancient times, Dreamweavers really did battle cosmic beasts like this. Now, by watching Fahai fight, Jushi saw a brand new direction. Fighting head-on with your body. Maybe you could combine martial skills and mystic arts, showing off your muscles as you beat up the enemy, while chanting mercy of the Buddha. Amitabha. Not only that, even while lying on the ground, Jushi noticed the golden dragon was actually Fahai's tattoo. So not only were you flexing, your tattoos themselves could attack as well. Man, just thinking about this scene is awesome. Jushi felt a rush of excitement flooding his mind and struggled to get up. Then he knelt toward Fahai. Master, please accept me as your disciple. I'm willing to become a Buddhist follower and walk the path of Buddhism. As soon as that was said, the entire livestream audience exploded. He just met his new disciple not long ago. The candidates inside have no idea what Fahai is all about. But don't they already know?
Damn.
A top 100 student in Huasha is kneeling and begging Fahai to take him in. But Fahai is just a creation in Sumu's dream. My god, this first place is definitely a monster. This whole Buddhist and Taoist system Fahai is talking about. It's so convincing. This is all Sumu. Impressive.
He made up a character that's actually this charming.
Sumu, who's watching everything live, is a little shocked by this scene. That big guy just knelt to his creation like this. Fahai's charisma is really that strong. But this guy really helped me harvest a ton of source energy. The moment they all fell to their knees, Sumu's system message skyrocketed like a rocket. His source energy, which was down to 2,500 points, surged to 3,200 in an instant. Many new faces contributed hundreds of points each to the source energy pool. Lanruo and his group did extremely well. Now it's about time to rep things up. The students here are still too weak. If I unleash the tree demon granny, they'll probably all get drained dry immediately. Let Fahai keep fighting. But even with characters like the tree demon granny, there might not be much to harvest. Better find a good excuse to stop while I'm ahead. As for taking disciples, have Fahai just play along with it. If fate allows, next time, Sumu checked the time as he thought. It's almost 8 o'clock. There's still some time left until midnight. Maybe I can explore this dream some more and stir up trouble again. Speaking of which, where's that dream seed that was floating around earlier? How did it just disappear? I'll find time to look for it later and exchange it for money. With all these thoughts, the story within Lanruo Temple continues. After dealing with the foxes, Fahai wrapped himself again in his Kasaya robe and nodded at all present. Amitabha. Sir, you have the angry Vajra look. That's an authentic Buddhist aura. It shows you are destined for Buddhism. Then Master, does that mean you'll accept me as your disciple? Jushi listened to Fahai and was overjoyed. Amitabha, may I have your name, please? Fahai asked with a smile. Surname Ju, the Jew from Red. Given name Shi, as in stone Jew. A fine name. If you wish to follow my path of Buddha, you must become a monk like me. If you enter Jinshin Temple now, you'll be given the Buddhist name Wu. I'll name you Wu Ning, so you'll be called Ju Wu Ning. Your ordainment will complete your transition. Wu Ning quietly recited a few words. He couldn't help but feel there was some deep wisdom within, and was utterly delighted. Thank you, Master Wu Ning, he said, trying his best to get up. But at that moment, a young girl suddenly showed up and bumped into him, shouting sister, and rushed to the foxes, not knowing if they were alive or dead. Of course, that's Ni Shaoqian, who hadn't joined the fight. Her appearance, her astonishing beauty instantly mesmerized the male candidates present, making them feel an instant affection. When the monster Fahai saw the girl, golden light flashed in his hand again.
Hey, Master.
She's not a bad person. Athen, who had collapsed, quickly protested, trying to explain.
He was actually trying to save me.
Athen struggled to get up as he spoke, but his whole body was weak, and he had no strength. Amitabha, sir, you're being deceived. All the demons here harm people. Fahai clearly didn't intend to hold back. He raised his palm and struck at Ni Shaoqian from a distance. But suddenly, a tree branch flew in from the west, whipping hard, hitting Fahai's hand. Another one? Fahai frowned, changing his hand seals, and directed golden light at the approaching branch. The watching candidates followed the branch with their eyes, and their gaze focused. It was that giant sunflower tree inside the temple. At that moment, it seemed alive, its trunk revealing a shriveled, old face. Seeing the crowd look over, it opened its mouth angrily. An old, raspy voice rang out. So it's you. Turns out it's this bald monk ruining my plans. Mist rolls in again. Now, everyone can have a little fun with me. The ancient voice carried some strange energy. Everyone who heard it felt dizzy, and blood ran from their ears. Oh no, master. That seems to be their granny. The strongest one here. Quick-witted Afan realized first, and shouted, while Fahai's face turned grim. 1,000-year-old tree demon. I can't believe you've reached this level. Today I, the humble monk, will enforce justice, said Fahai, throwing off his kasaya, which rapidly expanded in all directions. Everyone saw a flash of crimson, then felt weightless, as the kasaya flung them out of Lanruo Temple. Amitabha, friends, the mist is rising. Lanruo Temple will be transported by demonic spells. Somewhere else. You have no way to deal with this. Leave, monsters. Fahai's voice echoed in their ears. Demonic teleportation. Leave first. Zhu Ning, who was thrown out, was stunned to hear this. Suddenly he realized something was off, and shouted, Master, where should I go to find you? Wunan, remember? Buddha is in your heart. Every place is Buddha's place. I'll be waiting at Jinshan Temple. Jinshan Temple, Master. Where is Jinshan Temple? Zhu Wuning shouted, and found himself landing heavily on the ground, surrounded by a colorful luminous night. As the white mist faded, Lanruo Temple also vanished. The earlier events felt just like a dream. Jinshan Temple? Jinshan Temple. Wu Neng mumbled to himself, cursing. I just took a master, and now he's gone. I didn't even get to learn anything. Wait, I guess I did pick up something, like shaving my head. Or putting on that kasaya representing Buddha's way. Zhu Weneng touched his head and fell into deep thought. Meanwhile, in an alley watching Lanruo Temple retract into his dream seed, Su Mu let out a long sigh, then turned toward a nearby street. His Lanruo Temple mission is complete for now. Time to cause more trouble. He set his sights within the dream-making heart, on those unique underworld structures of the netherworld. The underworld's earlier display of offensive power was insufficient. This weakness must be addressed. If the ghost soldiers from Ghost City charge alone, the scene is still a bit lacking. If you want to turn the area nearby into Ghost City, you need to tell ghost stories. Naturally, ghost soldiers are essential. Black and white impermanence. Arrangements can be made for ghost soldiers borrowing passage for taking souls.
Anyway,
I haven't revealed ghost soldiers on stage before. As long as I don't summon Oxhead and Horseface, no one will know I'm the one calling the ghost soldiers. Sumu was just about to find a safe spot and work on perfecting the next phase of the underworld. And maybe grab a few ghost stories from Liaojai, digging out some more ghost stories. When he heard the clashing of weapons, along with the sounds came a familiar male voice. Sisters, stop fighting. That monster is about to wake up. That was Zhang Li's voice. When Sumu heard this, his expression shifted. He quietly crept forward, moving toward the source of the sound. Eventually, he arrived at an open space piled high with miscellaneous items. The sounds of fighting were coming from a room next to the junk pile. The house wasn't large, about the size of 3 bedrooms. At the entrance was an old sliding door.
inside a light was flickering.
Sumu quietly moved closer and spotted a notice board by the entrance. There's a sleeping beast inside. It's fierce, it eats people. There will always be one more piece of food inside. Feed the beast to get a reward. Be aware the beast doesn't like loud noises in the room. If it wakes up hungry, it will eat 2 people. This must be the secret realm, kind of like a dungeon. As long as you complete the mission, you get a reward. Looks like the Jang siblings found a good spot, Sumu thought, and peeked through the crack in the door. His gaze froze. He saw a girl standing on each side of Zhang Li. Their looks, demeanor, and weapons were all exactly the same. So that's what was going on. According to the notice, there will always be an extra piece of food inside. That means there will always be one more person who looks the same inside. Contestants have to figure out which is real and which is fake. And you can't make too much noise, Sumu thought, and saw Zhang Li trying to stop both Zhang Hongxiao from fighting. While thinking and asking, a copy always shows some flaw, right? Hey, sisters, when is my birthday? October 4th or so? Both Zhang Hongxiao answered in unison. What was my favorite game as a kid? Zhang Li asked, but neither could answer. So these copies apparently even have the original's memories and abilities. How do you tell them apart? Zhang Li was dumbfounded. Knock him out. I'm the real one. Both Zhang Hongxiao replied coldly and simultaneously. Even now, their movements and expressions remained perfectly in sync. Just like there were really two Jang Hongshao in the world. Aji. As Zhang Li watched, a thought struck him. His eyes lit up. You two stand still right there. Whoever moves is Zhang Hongshao. Okay, both Zhang Hongshao said in unison. Hey, little bro is not so dumb. I've recently learned a new dream item trick. It's called the Statue of Evolution. Show me your true form. With that, Zhang Li closed his eyes and began creating. A bird radiating a blue-green glow manifested near him and fired two beams of light. They struck both Zhang Hongshao on either side. BZZZT, accompanied by strange noises, light swirled around both Zhang Hongshao, but their appearance remained unchanged. Clearly, evolution couldn't reveal the copy's true form. The audience that had followed Sumu here saw this and were immediately interested. This challenge is kinda interesting. How do you identify the copy without causing a commotion? It's pretty hard without a fight. If they do fight, maybe the original could win. If the copy's layout doesn't work, it seems the only way is to keep asking questions, testing them with trial questions. But that's tough too. This is getting interesting. Nothing seems like the right way to go about it. Wait, what's Sumu doing? He wants to go in. As the audience discussed, Sumu, having figured out the situation, smiled and made his entrance known with footsteps, and walked right up to the warehouse's sliding door. Seems like you could use a little help.
His voice
Quickly caught the attention of the three inside. Hearing Sumu, Zhang Li, and the others, immediately brightened up. Wait, don't come in just yet. You can't leave this dungeon until you solve the puzzle. I know which one's real, and which one isn't. Sumu smiled and said, You know, Zhang? Zhang Li was stunned.
He hurried and said, Bro.
These copies are pretty incredible. Even I can't tell real from fake, and I'm her brother. If the evolution trick doesn't work, you think you can figure out who's real just by asking questions? Of course I can, but according to the rules, all the rewards from this dungeon challenge are yours. As long as you can clear it, that's enough. The speaker is one of the two Zhang Hongshao. The ice blue eyes were fixed on Sumu. She spoke with no change in tone, saying, Deal. Sumu snapped his fingers at her words and stepped into the warehouse. As soon as he entered, he felt a chill surge in his heart. At some point, there was a faint sound like someone sleeping peacefully. He looked toward the end of the warehouse. On the wall where the light couldn't reach, there was a pair of tightly closed eyes, as if a monster was sleeping there. What are you planning to do? Both Zhang Hongshao put away their weapons and moved to Sumu's sides. After Sumu took a careful look, he turned his head and asked, What counts as feeding it? Just push the fake one into that wall. The two Zhang Hongshao said in unison. Mu, you'd better watch carefully. Even these two sisters can't tell me, their own brother, apart. Zhang Li whispered. Do you have any ideas? How about telling me in advance? Yeah, even their own brother can't tell them apart. How could an outsider like Sumu? Maybe Sumu is just planning to randomly pick one and get the reward easily. Speaking of which, if the fake one really gets pushed in, will the fake still stay in the room? Then nobody will know whether the one pushed in was real or fake. In other words, Sumu could totally just take a risk with no real loss. There are quite a few conspiracy theorists in the comments, quietly discussing. Facing Zhang Li's question, Sumu just smiled. He didn't answer.
His hands made a grasping gesture.
In his mind, the leaves of Qianjiu Waxia began to turn. And on the underworld side, an image of a mythical beast appeared. This beast had a tiger's head, with a single horn on its head, ears like a white dog, body of a black dragon. It's the legendary Ting. It can distinguish all things with its ears. It can hear people's thoughts. A legendary beast that symbolizes wisdom. He was planning to use it after confirming information. But now is just the right time to bring it out. Sumu gazed at the gradually appearing beast in the warehouse and injected it with 300 units of energy in a single thought. As energy poured in, the beast's eyes, shining with a strange color, became lively. This beast looks awesome. Mu, can it really tell real from fake? Zhang Li asked curiously. Before Sumu could reply, Ting turned its head toward the two Zhang Hongshao, closed its eyes, and crouched to the ground, as if listening to something. After a short moment, Ting stood up and actually spoke in human speech. I now know which one is fake. The two Zhang Hongshao both asked at once. Ting looked them over carefully, then moved its paw slightly, and pointed to the deepest part of the warehouse, beside the sleeping monster. Please stand on the left and right side of the monster. Is this in case the duplicate goes berserk? Hearing Ting's words, all the viewers thought of that. This beast is so smart. Love it. Why are all the things Sumu creates so expressive and lifelike? It's like they're real. But can Zhang Hongshao really trust him like this? And what if she doesn't? Don't you get the situation upstairs? Zhang Hongshao and Zhang Li can't even tell which one is real. So the Ting Sumu brought is their only hope for survival. Yeah, if they don't trust him, they'll have to fight the monster and the clone. That's obviously the worst case. But just by listening at the ground for a bit, it can tell who's real and who's fake. Why do I feel like that's not reliable at all? While the audience doubted Ting, the story inside the warehouse continued. You'd better trust me now. Sumu said with a smile. Take back all your creations. Close your eyes. Stand still and wait. And let Ting give its verdict. Take back all your creations. The two Zhang Hongshao frowned at these words, then sighed, their ice blue eyes shifting, and all their weapons and equipment vanished. I hope you're not wrong. I'm the real one, they said at the same time. With that, both obediently took their places at the back of the warehouse. On either side of the dark wall, that's the monster's mouth. All it takes is for someone to push one of them in, and the round ends immediately. As long as the clone isn't exposed, it will follow the original's will. But if Ting really exposes him, he'll probably explode right then, making a huge noise, waking up my monster. So, Sumu's plan is currently the safest. The only question is, does he really know who the real Zhang Hongshao is? Zhang Li, watching from the side, could only worry, and put his hopes on this genius who can create S-level dreams. Hope we're not trusting the wrong person. This beast doesn't seem as reliable as my evolution totem. He felt a bit uneasy inside. When that thought surfaced, the beast named Ting turned its head and gave Zhang Li a blank stare and said calmly, Kid, don't question my ability. Back in the day, that monkey who wreaked havoc in heaven brought the six-eared macaque into the underworld. Even real gods couldn't tell them apart. They were both beyond the three realms and outside of the five elements. Only I and the Tathagata Buddha of the West knew who was real and who was fake. You should apologize for your ignorance. The Monkey King causing havoc in heaven and the six-eared macaque. The Tathagata Buddha of the West. Zhang Li was stunned at this, not really understanding what was meant. But the viewers had their own guesses. The Tathagata Buddha. Wasn't that the ancestor of fortune spoken of by Master Fahai earlier? Ting can be linked to the Tathagata Buddha. Wait, didn't you hear? Ting said it came from the underworld. The underworld is an S-level death world. Didn't know the underworld connected to fortune path. Not only that, the key is the Havoc in Heaven event. Heavenly Palace. That name sounds like it corresponds to the underworld. Could it be another S-level dream world? As soon as that viewer finished speaking, everyone gasped. Yeah, heaven and the underworld. Do you really think there's no connection? Who'd believe that these dream creations and mythical beasts are actually linking up? They seem to be getting a glimpse of a vast, colorful world from the scattered words of these characters and beasts. This is an experience they've never had before. Ji Yujing, travel writer from the Galaxy District, listened to the live stream while jotting things down quickly, writing down everything he knew on paper. Heavenly Palace, Underworld, Fortune Path, Lankavatara Temple. There is a faint connection between these dreamscape creations. And S-rank dreamscapes can also interlock with other dreamscapes, intertwining with one another. These dreamscapes seem to want to generate a special world. A colorful world entirely different from the current era. In that world, there are demons and monsters, an underworld below, and a heavenly court above. Furthermore, there are cultivation methods completely different from today's. In that world, the clothes people wear are entirely different from now, resembling the attire of ancient times. The more Jiujin spoke, the more excited he became. He felt that he couldn't wait to grab his suitcase and travel to this great world. It's just a pity that the underworld and Lanruo are not yet perfected. And that heavenly palace might just be something Diding is merely talking about for now. As for the monkey who wreaked havoc in the heavenly palace, Jin couldn't quite imagine. What kind of creature could wreak havoc in an S-rank dreamscape? And just how incredibly powerful it must be. What kind of legendary story does it hold? I hope Sumu can level up quickly and completely create this world. When it's done, I definitely have to find a chance to travel there. Jin secretly swore in his heart. While Jin and the others were shocked by this, many a rank dream weavers frowned. Connecting S-rank dreamscapes? Does this guy even know what he's doing? With the slightest mistake, all these dreamscapes could turn into nothingness. He's only S-rank. This is far too reckless. Inside the dreamnet, Chun Fenghui, having watched the live stream, said with a frown. Regarding the connection of dreamscapes, they had once conducted experiments too. The results they got were far from ideal. Even when 5 S-rank dreamweavers joined forces, they couldn't connect several S-rank dreamscapes together. Taking it a step further, there are so many things to consider here. And the required energy and mental strength are an astronomical figure. Back then, the 5 S-rank dreamweavers gave it their all, but they still couldn't forge a so-called dreamscape world that surpassed an S-rank dreamscape. The product of merging multiple S-rank dreamscapes ultimately just turned into a supersized S-rank dreamscape. If someone hadn't made improvements to it later on, this dreamscape would have nearly been annihilated on the spot. Even so, this dreamscape suffered massive damage and could not be used to fight the starry sky behemoths. It could only be used for internal examinations. Yes, this failed world is the DreamNet, this giant dreamscape that can span across the world, something that not even S-rank dreamweavers could accomplish. How could Sumu possibly achieve it? Chan Fenghui believed that Sumu was a genius, but the current Sumu was just a genius who had yet to fully grow. There is a massive chasm, even between F ranks, which cannot be bridged simply by increasing mental strength. It also requires years and months of accumulation. Even the hard work of dozens of generations in a family. He absolutely must not go down the wrong path. Unfortunately, according to the joint examination rules, I cannot have any form of substantial intervention. Chan Fenghui's gaze towards Sumu was filled with worry. With about a month's time, this child shouldn't go down the wrong path so quickly. At most, he will just destroy a few S-rank dreamscapes. As long as the person is fine, that's all that matters. Just as the outside world was reacting to Diding's words and connecting them to various things, Jiang Li had already lowered his head with a look of joy and apologized. Sorry, I was wrong. I shouldn't have questioned you. His words just now were not spoken out loud. He had merely thought them in his mind. He never expected that this strange beast could actually eavesdrop on his thoughts and reply directly. This seemed to be a top-tier observation technique. Jiang Li naturally didn't believe that something could eavesdrop on people's thoughts rather than reading minds. He believed more that this strange beast could hear things beyond what ordinary people hear, such as the blood flow in the brain, the number of heartbeats supplying blood, and so on. The other party might have observed his series of reactions and thereby deduced the thoughts in his mind. This also indicated that this beast could be certain that inside Jiang Hongshao's clone, there were sounds that were completely inhuman. Hearing Zhang Li's apology, Diding turned its head back in satisfaction and sized up the 2 Jiang Hongshao standing on its left and right. After a moment, it slowly settled on a direction and walked firmly toward the Jiang Hongshao standing on the left. Hearing the sound, the Jiang Hongshao standing on the left gently frowned. Why is this mutated beast walking towards her? She is the real Jiang Hongshao. Just as this thought popped into Jiang Hongshao's mind, she heard Diding say faintly, "You are wondering in your heart. You are questioning me. You are thinking that you are the real one to begin with, right? You must know. The clone also believes in its heart that it is definitely the true body. Of course, please don't be anxious. I just walked over to take a closer look." As Diding spoke, it paced back and forth around the Jiang Hongshao on the left, showing absolutely no intention of leaving. Could it be that the one on the left is fake? What is Diding doing? If the one on the left is fake, why not just push it in directly? It is hesitating. It seems to know which one is real and which is fake. The camera in Jang Hongshao's live stream is actually cropped to rounded corners. Even inside the live stream, we can't tell who is real and who is fake. Did Diding do it to appease this fake Jang Hongshao by saying that? Now, its roaming is just looking for an opportunity. Before the discussions in the live stream died down, Diding's gaze suddenly hardened. It opened its tiger-like jaws and let out a fierce roar. Roar, now. Accompanied by the roar, its body stood up tall and straight, as if possessing immense might, and viciously slammed into the Jang Hongshao on the left. It looked like it wanted to use a thunderous strike to knock Jang Hongshao directly into the monster's mouth. Ah! The Jang Hongshao on the left reacted very quickly. Her body fiercely squatted down, and bursts of flowing light flashed across her body. A layer of armor engraved with the boundless starry sky quietly attached itself to her body. Diding's attack was still a bit too slow. Not only that, if it wanted to attack, it should have just attacked. Why did it have to yell so loudly? What the heck is Diding doing? Roaring so loudly, but its attack speed is so slow. No way. Now it doesn't matter who is real and who is fake. The monster will definitely wake up. Once it wakes up, it's going to eat 2 people. Damn, after all that, this strange beast's IQ isn't very high. Now there's a good show to watch. When the monster wakes up, it will be another fierce battle. I hope Sumu gets eaten. He's completely dragging his teammates down. Just when the audience thought the development of events would irreversibly head toward the worst possible ending, from the right side of the warehouse, Jang Hongshao's terrified scream rang out. No! The camera in the live stream, accompanied by this voice, swiftly cut over, only to see that in front of Jang Hongshao. At some point, the figure of the Minotaur appeared. That bull-headed creature from the underworld showed up without anyone noticing. While everyone was distracted by the sound on the left, he appeared silently. And then he rammed into Jang Hongshao mercilessly. Directly, he hit Jang Hongshao, who was on the right and completely off guard, and smashed her into the wall. Almost instantly, the pitch-black wall at the top of the warehouse swallowed half of Jang Hongshao's body from the right side. His figure began changing rapidly, visible to the naked eye, eventually becoming a headless white monster. That creature struggled, howling as it tried desperately to pull its own head out from the warehouse wall, but it had no effect at all. The wall seemed to have some kind of suction, slowly swallowing his entire body completely. On the other side, Di Ting was striking a powerful pose, and with a leap of its hind legs, it opened up the distance between itself and Jang Hongshao. Clearly, it had no intention of fighting Jang Hongshao. Everything it did was just to attract attention, so the clone on the right side would lower its guard, giving Sumu an opportunity. Yes, Di Ting is a creature from Sumu's dream, so it knows who is real and who is fake. That means Sumu knows who is real and who is fake. To safely deliver the clone into the monster's mouth, he and Di Ting put on a double act. The current situation is actually easy to understand. The viewers in the live stream watched this scene, and immediately their scalps tingled. Distraction tactics, east to west. This is the classic sounding east while attacking west, right? Wow, you're amazing, boss. I'm on my knees. I shouldn't have doubted you just now. Di Ting is so smart. I'm bowing too. Turns out I was the clown all along. This strategy, though simple, Sumu really used it well. All our attention was completely drawn to Di Ting. After all, Di Ting is truly the one who can figure out who is real and who is fake, a true talent. This took advantage of Jang Hongshao's distrust of Di Ting. Liu Yun, city lord of Linhai, watched the live stream and happily slapped the table. First, Sumu used the fact that Jang Hongshao couldn't fully trust him and had Di Ting fake an attack on the real Jang Hongshao. The real Jang Hongshao recognized something was wrong and would definitely resist. But the fake Jang Hongshao on the right side would be convinced that Di Ting was useless, and so let her guard down. With this delicate setup, Sumu summoned his other creature, a single charge, and forced the clone into the monster's mouth. The geniuses from Linhai City really are something else. Brother Mu is awesome. Inside the warehouse, as the fake Jang Hongshao was swallowed into the dark wall, the worried Zhang Li could tell what was happening and shouted excitedly as he rushed over. Big brother, I was wrong. From today on, you're my big brother. Wow, D-Ting is strong too. As he spoke, he bowed and apologized to D-Ting again. Sorry, I falsely accused you, boss. Humans only need to understand what they're ignorant of and they'll be fine. Upon hearing this, D-Ting shook its tiger head and turned into a streak of light, disappearing from the scene together with the Minotaur. Thanks a lot. If you run into any problems during the exam, you can come to me. I owe you a favor this time. Jang Hongshao's icy blue eyes gleamed, and her tone wasn't so cold anymore. This time, for him, it's a tremendous trial. If Sumu hadn't shown up, he and Zhang Li really might not have made it out of this warehouse. All the rewards from this round go to you. We're not involved. While they spoke, the wall that had swallowed up some food suddenly began to tremble violently. A jet black beam erupted from it. Looking closer, it was a string of bracelets, completely black. The entire chain was made up of more than a dozen diamond-shaped black metal beads. Before Sumu could even take a good look at it, Zhang Li nearby blurted out, "A bracelet made of dreamstone. That's some good stuff." Dreamstone. When Sumu heard that, he rummaged through his mind for relevant knowledge. He instantly understood. Dreamstone is a stone obtained from the body of a cosmic behemoth. You can fuse it into your own dream creations, boosting their combat power by 20 to 30%, even for a level 1 Dreamweaver's level 1 creation. It still works. It's a hot-selling item on the black market. 2 of these can buy a house. Sumu looked at the bracelet in front of him. With over a dozen dreamstones, his eyes lit up. That's a small fortune. Without much hesitation, Sumu simply took the floating dreamstone bracelet and put it on his wrist. This was his loot. The Jang siblings just watched from the side, without showing any greed. As the chilling atmosphere in the warehouse faded, Zhang Li spoke excitedly. Mujie, why don't you join us? If we team up, we could totally sweep the entire secret realm. I can't. I've got my own things to do. We can meet up at midnight.
Hearing this,
Sumu smiled and declined. Still got things to handle, like spending 300 units of origin force to summon D-Ting. So I need to find some students to replenish it. After saying goodbye to the reluctant Zhangling, Sumu walked out of the warehouse and strolled into the shadows of the street, finding a spot that looked safe enough. He hid himself. After making sure there was nothing unusual nearby, Sumu hooked his fingers slightly and opened his personal panel. Mental power, 46.5. Origin force, 3,215 points. Previously, to maintain his dream creation, he used his mental power and kept injecting origin force to recover it. This constantly boosted his mental power, reaching around 46.5. As for the principal, when Sumu created the mythic beast D-Ting, he spent 300 points. After D-Ting appeared, he got quite a bit back, barely keeping his origin force at 3,200. If he converted all 3,200 origin force points into mental power, Sumu's mental power would reach about 80 points. That's not far from the limit for an F-rank Dreamweaver. Of course, when it comes to upgrading Dreamweaver rank, there's no exact number for the mental power needed to go from F to E rank. There's no fixed value, since it varies based on vocation compatibility. Dreamweavers with high compatibility might only need 70 points of mental power to reach the next level. For those with low compatibility, to move up a rank, the mental power required is way above that. For Dreamweavers with a compatibility of 1, to advance to the next stage, no one knows how much mental power it takes. Nobody knows. A compatibility of 1 is basically a total mismatch with the Dreamweaver vocation. Even awakening is a once-in-a-millennium rarity. The mental power needed to advance is absolutely an astronomical amount you can't even imagine. If it weren't for origin force, Sumu would probably be stuck at this stage for life. Gotta keep pushing forward. Right now, his mental power is holding up. He could invest more origin force into dream creation. Just keep some in reserve for topping up his mental power. Thinking this, Sumu sat cross-legged on the ground, closed his eyes and observed his Dreamweaver core. Within his inner world, Lanruo Temple still stood. The dozen or so defeated foxes were gradually recovering. In the underworld, the mythic beast D-Ting was napping in Ghost City. Ghosts kept shuffling around. Right now, in Sumu's Dreamweaver core, only Lanruo Temple is basically completed. The underworld setting is still extremely incomplete, with iconic landmarks like the 6 paths of reincarnation and the 8 knee levels of hell, and the city of wrongful death all missing. Even underworld characters are few and far between. Major pieces like the 6 paths of reincarnation can be put aside for now. First, expand the underworld's roster of soldiers. Having only Oxhead and Horseface as the muscle is way too shabby. As his thoughts shifted, in Sumu's mind, the pages from ancient Waxia's history slowly flipped. Within the directory for the underworld, he found what he was looking for. Very soon, inside the ancient, misty, boundless underworld, 2 figures, one in black and one in white, slowly emerged. The white-clad ghost was named ZBN, who became white impermanence upon entering the underworld. He wore a smile, was tall and thin, with a pale face, tongue sticking out, and wore an official hat with the words "Good fortune through kindness." He also held the iconic soul-capturing chain. The black-clad ghost was named Fan Wuxi, who became black impermanence upon entering the underworld. He looked fierce, was burly and fat, and wore an official hat with the words "Peace in the World," with black and white impermanence present. A large number of gray-robed underworld soldiers appeared behind them. Their faces were solemn, black fog swirling around them, making for an intimidating sight. Having created this much, Sumu let out a slight sigh of relief. He used Origin Force to top off his mental power, and temporarily stationed black and white impermanence, along with the underworld soldiers. In Fendu City, when the time is right, he can have them appear and drag the lucky ones back to the underworld for a full-service death experience. With that done,
He once again turned his gaze to above the underworld.
the open space around Lanruo Temple. For this round of Origin Force absorption, the underworld soldiers were just one element. He planned to throw a real Hayaki Yojionite parade of 100 demons in part of Meng City. A grand feast of supernatural beings. Strange tales like Liaojai, from ancient times till now. Countless ghosts could appear, give the candidates a taste of the most bizarre spirits from Waxia, the ghosts of the netherworld. Of course, sticking to the principle of not just telling ghost stories, Sumu planned to build another temple next to Lanruo Temple, called City God Temple. It would protect the candidates, while receiving the ghosts captured by underworld messengers, subjecting them to a good lesson. Since ancient times, the first checkpoint for entering the underworld is the City God Temple. When a person is about to die, black and white impermanence, you need to bring this to the City God's Temple. Complete the reporting process before taking the path of the underworld. In this way, the City God can maintain contact with the underworld, layer upon layer, deeply intertwined. Eventually, this dreamland heart will become its own little world. After making some minor plans for the small world, Sumu immediately consumes 300 units of energy.
He channels his spiritual power into the page labeled City God.
As the energy pours in, the entire dreamland heart trembles slightly. A grand golden red hall with red walls and tiled roofs rises from the ground. A plaque reading City God hangs over the main entrance. There's also a pair of couplets on either side, dedicated to the Yang family. Good and evil deeds, you keep track of them all. Underworld, who has ever escaped you since ancient times? Now all that's left is the City God statue, and Sumu murmurs softly. But before he could finish, a sudden chill enveloped him. Before he could react, his consciousness instantly withdrew from inside the City God's temple. A surge of overwhelming psychic force made Sumu immediately aware of a looming threat from behind. He pushed off with both hands, and the Beast Emperor rolled away from his original position. Before Sumu could catch his breath,
He saw in the dark corner where he had just been sitting
a blue tentacle, like a catfish's whisker, suddenly extend out and whip fiercely at the spot where he had been meditating. What the? Sumu frowned, focused his gaze, and noticed that at some point deep within the hidden dark corner, a pair of cold, utterly emotionless blood-red eyes appeared. Under the faint light, they looked creepy and evoked intense fear. The blue tentacle, like a catfish's whisker, came from the darkness within those crimson eyes. Did I just stumble into a spawn point? Sumu cursed it inwardly, And as he was about to get up and leave, a chilling dread flooded him from all sides. He turned and looked around, and in every dark corner nearby, pairs upon pairs of shining, strange, emotionless eyes appeared all around. As Sumu stared back, those eyes blinked in unison. The crimson eyes glimmered, and they all locked their gaze on Sumu. From countless dark corners, blue catfish-like tentacles surged out, almost forming a tightly knit web, completely enveloping Sumu. The livestream audience gasped at this sudden turn of events, drawing in a sharp breath. I think I've seen that thing before.
It's a kind of star beast.
I fought on the Starfield battlefield before. I've encountered these star beasts. We usually call them red-eyed catfish. On the Starfield battlefield, this is one of the toughest star beasts to deal with. Sumu is in serious trouble now. Red-eyed catfish. Why is my luck so bad? I actually wandered right into their nest. This should be a death dream remnant of a red-eyed catfish, right? That's rough luck for Sumu. Red-eyed catfish. Inside the dream battlefield, it's one of the nightmare creatures dreamweavers fear the most. Compared to other star beasts, the red-eyed catfish has even trickier abilities, and is more bizarre. It can constantly duplicate its eyes in the dark, over and over. Every time another pair of crimson eyes appears, the red-eyed catfish grows even stronger. If you can't find the real eyes of the red-eyed catfish within a certain time, by searching in the darkness, and destroy the beast, the only thing awaiting a dreamweaver is death. And right now, F-level Sumu is facing it head-on. This is a red-eyed catfish. After a brief moment of confusion, Sumu looked at the countless glowing eyes in the dark, and finally came to his senses. It was mentioned before that secret realms are bizarre scenes created by dreamweavers and star beasts battling each other. They are formed from the collision and struggle between them. Inside are dreamscapes created by dreamweavers, and sometimes remnants of the dreamweavers themselves. Of course, among them, there are also the lingering dream remnants of unwillingly dead star beasts. Apparently, I've ended up right inside one of the lingering dreams of a red-eyed catfish.
And in this dream,
the number of red eyes has multiplied to an absolutely terrifying degree. Even if it's just a fraction of its original power, those tentacles whipping around are still more than enough to crush me, an F-level weakling. Talk about tough luck. But it's not totally hopeless. Sumu thought to himself, crouched down, and pressed his hand to the ground. In his mind, the dreamland heart flickered, about to summon something into reality. But just then, an explosion thundered through the mass of catfish tentacles closing in. A loud blast suddenly erupted, and within the tangle of tentacles, a charred hole was blasted open. 5 men and women, all in their 30s or 40s, rushed inside. Their formation was precise, like a well-trained squad. The leader was a middle-aged man with a square jaw, wearing armor that radiated intense flames, and brandishing a blazing greatsword. He swept his sword around, checking all sides. Then, spotting Sumu, waved to his teammates, shouting, "Quick! Protect the kid! Zhaovan, keep those fireballs on that monster." Behind the middle-aged man, the 4 other team members quickly moved to surround Sumu upon command, forming a defensive perimeter around him. The male dreamweaver called Zhao Wang shaped a dream, summoning a mage with a staff, whose incantation sent spell orbs flying at the catfish's tentacles. Boom! 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 After a volley of fiery explosions, the sprawling tentacles fell away in a pile of charred corpses. Feeling the intense heat, the tentacles drew back slightly, momentarily pausing their attacks on the 6 people. Apparently, fire is something that red-eyed catfish fears greatly, but that's only a temporary fix. In a short time, more and more blood-red eyes appeared all around, and the red-eyed catfish kept multiplying. If this keeps up, there's no way they'll win. This won't work, Captain Joe. We're all going to be worn out and die here. We have to find the real red-eyed catfish. The dreamweaver called Zhao Wang kept pelting fireballs with his creation, shouting loudly, "Kid, did you see? Roughly where the red-eyed catfish first appeared." The square-jawed man called Captain Joe asked seriously, "This is Sumu." Seeing the figures before him, it suddenly dawned on him. These are the lingering spirits of deceased dreamweavers. In this remnant state, they were never truly killed. They still exist within Dream City. serving as its vanguard, fending off the endless star beasts invading.
And now?
They see me as a boy who needs protection, not just Sumu either. Viewers in the live stream saw this sudden arrival of two groups and immediately understood the situation. They realized the red-eyed catfish was reproducing, so they rushed over right away, hoping to take it down. There was no other choice back on that battlefield. If the red-eyed catfish took root in a city and wasn't stopped in its early stage, that city would soon become a wasteland. Yeah, there was no dreamland battlefield back then. Once red-eyed catfish reproduction was discovered, everyone had to be mobilized and sent over immediately. Even if it meant sacrificing lives, the red-eyed catfish had to be destroyed. All these people are heroes, even if they only exist in Meng City. Even if they're just fictional characters, they're still worthy of respect. But admiration is one thing. Now, what will Sumu do next? Even with 5 more allies, it doesn't guarantee he can escape smoothly. One last viewer's comment woke everyone up. That's right. Now the red-eyed catfish is reproducing even faster. Even though it's just a remnant, with only a trace of power left, it's still enough to handle these people. After all, they're fictional too. Their strength is far from what it once was. They might not even realize that they're already dead. If I were Sumu, I'd let the squad members hold their ground, create an opening, and then try to escape myself. Even if that seems a bit shameless, from the looks of things right now, this seems like the best option. After all, Sumu is currently no match for the red-eyed catfish. Abandon them and leave alone is the most logical choice. Maybe this is also a kind of test. A test to see what Sumu will choose.
He sizes up the warriors standing before him.
Resolute looks on their faces. Listening to their words, Sumu gently shook his head. When I got here, they had already reproduced and formed. It's impossible to tell who the real one is. I see. Damn it. Captain Joe heard Sumu's words and immediately turned to the teammate casting spells. Increase your attack frequency. Clear a path for the kid. Let him go first. We can't all stay here. Someone must get out to alert the others in Dream City. This is urgent. The 4 teammates followed the order without a moment's hesitation. They all simultaneously used their spiritual power, targeting a weak spot of the red-eyed catfish and preparing to launch an attack. Kid, once you get out, report to the authorities in Meng City immediately. The 5 of us will hold back the red-eyed catfish's reproduction here, waiting for your reinforcements. Go in the direction of our attack. Captain Joe looked resolute, though knowing full well staying here might mean all annihilation. He didn't hesitate for a second.
To him.
As long as they could slow the red-eyed catfish's reproduction, there'd be more hope for Meng City. That's the spirit of sacrifice. Maybe this scenario was arranged intentionally by the exam committee, so that candidates who wandered in could experience the fearlessness of the Dreamweavers centuries ago. But looking at Joe's team of 5, Sumu showed a faint smile. Captain Joe, maybe you don't have to leave. The red-eyed catfish isn't invincible after all. That square-jawed face. Captain Joe was puzzled when he heard this. Just as he hadn't reacted yet, Sumu suddenly squatted down a bit and pressed one hand on the ground. City God, reveal yourself. As he spoke, the entire ground began to tremble slightly. Almost in an instant, several crimson stone pillars shot up from all sides, and Chun Fengquiyu's somewhat tired voice came through. Catfish tentacles that shot in from all directions. Almost instantly, a blinding white light erupted from the point where the tentacles and pillars collided. In that moment, protecting ordinary people from the behemoth's attacks, the red eyes all around. That red-eyed catfish just got crushed by 4 pillars, thousands upon thousands of eyes. Or was it some special setup inside Dream City? From the depths of the darkness, there was suddenly a slightly pained screech. Listening carefully, it sounded like the wail of the red-eyed catfish itself. At the same time, inside Meng Guangju's office, watching the livestream where Sumu wiped out, when an urgent sound blared from the sky, Chun Fengquiyu's eyes widened as he sipped his wine. Most of the red-eyed catfish with just a casual motion. He could barely hold onto his glass. A dream construct is linking to all of Dream City's energy. Some of Dream City's authorities are being transferred. This dream construct is from candidate number 3484, Sumu. Inside the main proctor's room, Chun Fenghui listened to the prompt from DreamNet.
His mind went totally blank.
Sumu is taking over all of Dream City. A single candidate has obtained partial control of Dream City. Has he lived too long? Is he just hearing things now? Chun Fenghui ignored the wine spilling from his glass and immediately shot to his feet.
His eyes stared in shock at Sumu on the livestream.
That dream construct just summoned 4 pillars. Yet he actually shook Dream City's controls. Dream City is managed by several S-Rank Dream Masters. They're in total command. It's like an S-Rank Dream Master is about to have their weapons snatched away from their own hands by force. What the hell did this kid do? Chun Fenghui's scalp tingled. At that moment, he honestly had no idea how Sumu did it. Thinking back over his life, the shock Chun Fenghui felt deep down set a new record today. Never before had he been so surprised. And it wasn't just him. Even the audience in the livestream exploded with excitement. Is this for real? And they dare call that thing the red-eyed catfish? It's a disgrace to the whole species. I've never seen such a weak cosmic beast. Did the exam committee go easy or something? We're instantly snuffed out as if devastated. This has gotta be fake. I could do it too. If it were me, I could summon tons of pillars. Let the red-eyed catfish take on a dozen at once. Am I confused, or is it the world? Something about this feels off. Even if the red-eyed catfish was just a remnant dream, it should still be incredibly tough. A cosmic beast shouldn't be taken down by some rookie's first attack. Yeah, right? If it were that easy, the red-eyed catfish wouldn't be a battlefield nightmare. Wang Ri, who went home from DreamNet to catch the livestream, couldn't help but furrow his brows deeply. His opinion was finally the same as the chat for once. Having entered DreamNet himself, he knew this young guy was very promising. When Sumu encountered the red-eyed catfish, he believed Sumu could handle it, but he didn't expect Sumu to handle it this easily. He didn't use the underworld, nor did he summon Fahai. Not even the truth-seeing beast appeared, or D-Ting either. He always assumed Sumu would use D-Ting to figure out if the red-eyed catfish was real or not. But instead, Sumu just summoned 4 pillars and just crashed into the catfish's tentacles. That was it for the red-eyed catfish. Even Wang Ri couldn't help but doubt for a second. Maybe DreamNet was bugged, actually vanished like bursting bubbles. What exactly was going on? As these thoughts flashed quickly through his mind, his daughter Wang Huanjie ran over, full of confusion. Dad, did you watch the live stream yet? How did Sumu even do that? Ever since Wang Ri recommended Sumu's stream to her, Wang Huangjia always kept an eye on Sumu's moves. Watching closely, she saw the boy make another move she didn't understand at all. Naturally, she wanted to ask right away, especially since her father was a Dream Master too. But as soon as she got close, she saw the same confusion on her dad Wang Rei's face. Is this younger guy really about to defy the heavens? While the outside world puzzled over what Sumu summoned, and how it could repel the red-eyed catfish so easily, confusion spread everywhere. Meanwhile, Sumu himself was totally lost. He just planned to summon a city god temple to use as a shield. After all, a city god temple is meant for protection. Sumu planned to summon the city god temple first, then bring in the underworld's black and white impermanents and the ghost troops to finish the job. Let them show up. He has plenty of energy now anyway. He could afford it. Alert. But the way things turned out was crazy. He just materialized 4 pillars. Then the so-called mighty red-eyed catfish was already down. Wait, hold up. A city god temple. Sumu thought it over and suddenly had a new idea.
A city god temple is a sacred site for honoring the city's local god.
It protects the city and its people, and usually governs part of the underworld. That bright white light just now should have been a form of protective barrier. When the white light appeared, Sumu didn't feel his mental energy was depleted much, which meant someone else paid the price for him. There's no way the exam committee would be that generous. Clearly, the payment came from all of Meng City. Every city has its city god, and with his energy fueling it, that temple essentially became S-class as soon as it showed up. The moment it appeared, it naturally became Meng City's one and only city god temple. In other words, he indirectly gained control over Meng City's underworld forces. He can manage Meng City's wandering souls. And that's like obtaining partial authority over the city. Right now, He's like half the boss of Ming City, able to use Ming City's unique powers. That's a big deal. Su Mu thought to himself, and responded quickly, placing both hands on the ground, pouring in a surge of spiritual energy. With a thunderous roar, red bricks and green tiles, a temple with the style of ancient Chinese civilization, appeared in reality immediately. In that instant, mysteriously, a consciousness linked with Su Mu's mind. And right then Su Mu felt his mind's processing power ascend to an unfathomable level. In his pupils was reflected all of Dream City, surrounded by 4 walls, and what was happening everywhere in Dream City. In those images, he saw the figures of Zhang Li and Zhang Hongshao. He also saw some groups teaming up, and ruthless gangs ganging up on lone students. He even spotted in one shadowy corner a man with a scarred face, wearing an enforcer team uniform Qian Cheng, leading a couple of Meng City natives, wandering around the city center. It seemed like something was being awaited. All the students' locations appeared before Su Mu. At the same time, Su Mu suddenly felt a moment of clarity. He seemed able to influence some aspects of the Dream City's trajectory, which would cause all the rewards to be activated just for him, just as Su Mu was about to try, gathering nearby resources toward himself first. He suddenly felt everything go dark. That strange connection abruptly disappeared at that instant. It even made a snapping sound like switching off a circuit breaker. With the connection severed, a mechanical voice echoed throughout Dream City. Congratulations to examinee number 3484, Su Mu, for establishing an S-level potential Dream City City God Temple, and successfully linking with all of Dream City. Because the Dream City City God Temple is unique in nature, with no previous precedent. Affecting the exam order, the DreamNet has applied certain restrictions, and has given examinee 3484 an extra 10 points as compensation. Once this announcement was made, all the examinees, including the audience watching the live stream, were thrown into an uproar. Linking with Dream City. He's just a candidate. Su Mu almost took over the whole Dream City. He nearly became the master of Dream City. I'm floored. These young people today are unstoppable. I've been watching the national exam for over 10 years, and never seen such a powerful rookie Dreamweaver. My God. Why does Su Mu only have a professional compatibility of 1? If he had even 50%, he'd definitely be the next S-level Dreamweaver of Waxia. He's created 2 S-level potential dreamscapes in a row. This is an S-level potential dreamscape achieved by a human. A city god temple that can shake DreamNet's extraordinary dreamscape. Wang Ri listened to the panel broadcast, pondering for a moment, then dialed Chan Fenghui's number. Ring, ring, ring. The call rang on the panel for over 10 seconds before it was answered, smashing fiercely against the "Speak quickly." "Old man, I'm busy right now." "Old man, why can the city god temple link with DreamNet?" Wang Ri asked while thinking aloud. This doesn't really count as a violation. As long as the exam committee doesn't interfere with the national exam, they can still go out for a drink together like before. This time, I really underestimated Su Mu. Chan Fenghui gave a wry smile. According to DreamNet's assessment, this city god temple seems to serve as a vessel for the spirit of Dream City's residents. It touches on the so-called domain of gods. Since its inception, by virtue of its fundamental power, it has naturally absorbed the spirit and will of Dream City. Even at night in Dream City, it receives the will of Dreamweavers who have died. Its own dream-weaving potential might only be level 1. But once, it can accommodate the will of all the city's residents and bear everyone's spirit. Its essence will reach a new qualitative level. That's why DreamNet rated the city god temple as an S-level potential dreamscape. As Chan Fenghui spoke, his expression became serious. Wang Ri, do you know what this represents? To hold the will and spirit of all the residents. Listening to Chan Fenghui's explanation, Wang Ri's heart skipped a beat, and he unconsciously sat up straighter. He frowned and said, "This means
The city god temple can use this special spiritual power
for defense or offense. In this process, ordinary people can actually play a significant role. Ever since the cosmic behemoths arrived, protecting the city, a daylight-like brilliance exploded across the sky, has always been what Dreamweavers wanted to accomplish. Some dreamweavers have tried develops dreamweaving arrays powered by ordinary people, harnessing the release of spiritual power, but they basically failed. Not to mention the inability to awaken. And ordinary people's spiritual power is too weak to become dreamweavers. Just maintaining the array consumes enormous spiritual power, an astronomical figure. So with the help of ordinary people, dreamweavers working together, using their own dreamweaving to fight the cosmic beasts, actually produced better results. So ever since the cosmic behemoths appeared, all ordinary people could do was cower in the back and hope for the disaster to pass. But this temple is totally different. It can absorb on its own and use the spiritual will of the residents, unite all the city's people as one, with very little consumption, if any at all. This city god temple was built by Flevel Sumu, whose spiritual power can't possibly exceed 100. This means maintaining the city god temple takes very little spiritual power, and in defense, doesn't require using his own spirit. After all, temples naturally represent faith and spiritual support. For now, only the city god temple built by Sumu can apply this concept. Currently, this city god temple is still in its infancy. Potential is just potential after all. Chun Fenghui sighed deeply as he spoke. If Sumu had any higher compatibility as a dreamweaver, maybe we could have seen the final form of the city god temple. That's going to be tough. Enough! This commotion is getting too big. Those old folks from abroad have caught the scent and are coming. I've got to go deal with them first. With that, Chun Fenghui hung up. Wang Ri, hearing Chun Fenghui's words, subconsciously tapped his index finger on the desk. He understood what the old man meant.